All right. Let's try this again. I literally just spent the last 30 minutes chatting with you guys, and it looks like it just stopped working. And it looks like it never broadcasted any of that to you guys. And now I'm hearing myself talk. Where's that coming from? Wow. Well then, let's restart this. Hey guys, I'm Hard Pretzel again. Sorry you guys missed that for 30 minutes. I was sitting here just chatting with you guys, having a grand old time, and well, looks like nothing was working. Like, it looked like you guys were chatting. I was talking back to you. You guys were actually answering the things I was saying. I have the entire thing recorded, though. I have the entire thing recorded. If you don't believe me, it's all there. But, oh well. I guess we'll figure it out later, whatever happened there. I introduced the entire stream. I was chatting. It was... Anyway, we're doing some Sonic R today. I've got my hands on a number of Sonic Gems collections. I've got my hands on a number of Saturns. And I even have this. I actually did some ASMR for you guys, too. Like, I literally pulled up my mic and turned it up and then had a very long ASMR session with you guys. I genuinely can't believe how nothing happened. I literally had the talk with your homies for 2 hours, but the mic was muted. Happened to me. I don't even... Like, I low-key just want to just play what I did earlier, just so you guys believe me. Do I have it? Where would it be? It'd be over in my VODs, right? Can I watch an MKV while it's still recording? No, I can't. I have to finalize the recording first. All right. I should have... Okay, here we go. I'll do this. I'll let the recording finalize, and I'm going to play this recording. At least skip forward for you guys. Hey, Hex. Welcome. I don't know why my stream didn't go live. Now I'm really bummed. All right, so I've got a new recording started, which is I can pull this up. I love this song. You know what? It's worth it. Totally worth it. We're going to have a bit of a streamception here because I refuse to let you guys think that I did nothing for 30 minutes. Oh, no, it's not my alt. I did not make chocolate-covered pretzel. That just showed up one day, and I'm just sitting here with it. All right, so here, let's hit play. Here is my VOD. It's real. It's real. It's happening. And obviously, you know, I got 5 minutes or so of me eating my sandwich offline. But here we go. I show up. I'm telling you about how everything's broken, because it is. New everything, put on my glasses. I even went through my sandwich ingredient by ingredient, you guys. So be it, because this is... I went through my entire sandwich with you guys, and nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. Oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know what happened. TLDR. Wait, can I make this as fast as my video? How do I do my speed? Playback speed. Video track, zoom, aspect ratio, crop. What's the hotkey? Oh, playback. Playback speed. All right, so playback, speed, faster. All right, you guys want to listen to Pretzel at 8x? Pretzel at 8x? Very important, and this is... All right. So audio doesn't work anymore, but that's fine. Let's go back to 4. I love mayonnaise. I hate mustard, so I don't like a lot of sauces on anything I do. I love plain or cheese or no. I can't believe this. I can't believe this is such a great intro and a great stream start, and now I didn't even have it live. I can't believe. This sounds so cursed. Is this what it sounds like when you guys watch my videos? Is this how fast I talk in my videos? What sandwich is that, dude? All right, so let's start this again. All right, so we're gonna go full on into the Spider-Verse restart right here. All right, so this is my sandwich, or at least was my sandwich. The reason I was late to stream today by like 5 minutes was because I was eating my sandwich beforehand. What I didn't realize is that I never went live. I was live. According to OBS, I was live. No frames were dropped. According to YouTube, I was live, but no frames were dropped. But for some reason, the stream itself never started. I don't know what it was. And as you can tell, like, I was literally just playing my VOD from not even 10 minutes ago. And I was live. But YouTube, I guess, decided to like shadow ban me or something today because that just prevented me from getting in. But this is my sandwich that I had earlier today. Why can't I rotate this? Hello? Where's the top of my sandwich? Yeah, it was really weird. So we're just going to go through my sandwich here one more time, just because I feel like it'd be a disservice to people who are curious about the sandwich to skip it. Oh, get better soon, DDX. So yeah, right here, this is potato bread, toasted. The only way to have a sandwich is to toast it, by the way. And then if you notice this little white cream there, I don't do mayonnaise, I don't do mustard, I don't do ketchup. It's not just because I lived in Chicago, I just hate slime. So I use cream cheese for a lot of my spreads if I need to. So I have a little bit of cream cheese there with a nice spring green mix with some bell peppers, some tomatoes, and some pickles. And if you look really close, let me get this really HD sandwich right here. This isn't chicken poop right here. This is actual sandwich right here. That is seasoning. That is some seasoning. Because if you notice, my skin is a little bit darker than the paper towel this sandwich was made on, right? So I know my way around some seasoning. It wasn't anything fancy this time around, but I just used some salt, pepper, and some Old Bay. And, Maryland represent. Got to go with some Old Bay. And then I put a drizzle of Mike's Hot Honey in there. And it turned out really good. And there's also, of course, honey ham that plays really nicely with the Mike's Hot Honey. And then more cream cheese and the potato bread toasted. It was a really good sandwich. It was so good, in fact, while making the sandwich, I was like, this is going to be a good sandwich. I'm going to make 2. And I'm so glad I did that because this is the best sandwich I've ever made in my life. And I've made sandwiches just like this before. But this one was different. I don't know what it was, but it just hit different. Maybe it's because I haven't eaten at all day, or I haven't eaten in like 3 days, and it just tasted extra good. But this one just hit. This one just hit. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was toasted. Definitely toasted. I still, like, and the thing is, I went through all of this for 30 minutes, and it just, for some reason, YouTube didn't start my stream. I don't know what happened, but hey, you know what? We're here now. It's time to play some Sonic R. You guys ready for Sonic R? You guys literally just life-hacked Pretzel. You just life-hacked Pretzel. There's no yapping anymore. We're going right into the stream. All right, so let me get my capture up. I want this one, I think. Yes. All righty. So let me get my game up. Yeah, you hit the yap skip. Let me move my camera a little bit more. Perfect. Hello. There we go. So let me get my game capture started. Ooh, why is my audio doing that? That's not right. Can you guys hear that? No, there's nothing going on. Oh well. Let's just hit the power button on my Saturn and see what happens. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's because my Saturn has been unplugged for so long. Yeah, I noticed there's no audio. I can hear it here, but it's going to show up in a second. The audio will appear in just a second. Just give it a minute. There you go. Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that right now? So, in honor of the thumbnail, I figured today will be a little special. We're going to play at least the general versions of Sonic R. I'm going to do the Saturn version first, then we're going to do Gems, and then if we got some time, maybe I'll do some PC as well. And we're just going to play them all and see what's up. So let me move this over. Switch my input. And I actually do have the Tiger Electronics version on hand. In case we do feel a little spicy today, I could throw that in there too. The Saturn version is definitely my favorite version. So wait, are you really not a Sonic fan? Yeah, no, I'm not a Sonic fan because as everybody in the chat knows, Sonic fans are predominantly bad people. I'm kidding. But also, there's a growing sentiment of certain Sonic fans and their communities, their little sub-communities that are less Sonic fans and more fans of certain creators. And if you're a fan of a certain creator, you're now following everything they say to the T, and now all of a sudden there's only like 3 good games in the entire franchise, and it's really not like that. Sonic Adventure is great, Generations is great, but so is Sonic R, so is Sonic Chronicles, so is every game out there, so is Colors, Black Knight, Secret Rings. Every Sonic game is good for a different reason depending on who you are and what you like to play. So that's why I don't like to align myself as a Sonic fan, because I feel like Sonic fans as a whole, they just are very one-track minded. Sonic's got to be one way, do one thing before it's good, and I'm not about that life. People always want to say Sonic be free like the wind, then turn around and say that no, Sonic can't do this, Sonic can't do that, Sonic's not allowed to do any of that. So it's just one of those things where I choose not to associate with Sonic fans. So by label, I don't call myself a Sonic fan. If anything, I'm a Sonic enjoyer. If anything, I just like to play the games. If anything, I am not. That was weird. Are we still live? My internet just dropped out of nowhere, and I heard a little ding, a little sad sound. Yeah, very, very strange. I don't know, today just might be a very cursed Wednesday. But like, I'm sitting here playing Sonic R because it's my favorite game of all time. So obviously I'm not the same as most other Sonic fans who will jump at any chance to say this game's the worst in the world. Favorite song and track? Definitely Diamond in the Sky as well. I love Diamond in the Sky. Radical City is probably also my favorite track, so you and I are on the same page, Hex. That's the thing, you can play Sonic games and not be a Sonic elitist. Like, you can play anything you want. Like, for example, I will play Mario World at Wario World at some point, but I wouldn't call myself a Wario fan. I just play the games. Just how I've played Paper Mario, but I wouldn't call myself a Paper Mario fan, just that I've played the games. I mean, I play Pokemon games, but I wouldn't call myself a Pokemon fan. I enjoy what I play, and I know what I want to play. I'm going to play the games that I put in, and those are the ones that I like. I'm not going to be a fan over that. Let's see, I'm just letting my stream run for a couple seconds here to see if we disconnect again. Trying to do water sliding again, the usual. Are you a fan of any series? I don't think I'd really call myself a fan necessarily of really anything. Because technically speaking, if you want to get etymological about it, being a fan is rarely actually a good thing. A fan is it's a word that came rooted from fanatic, obviously. Fanatic has a lot of ties with cultish behavior, and it's just not a very good label to have. It may have been watered down a lot over the years, but when you sit there and you start saying that, you know, my aspect of Sonic is better than your aspect of Sonic, that is, by definition, what a fan is. That is a fanatic, constantly fighting over what counts and what doesn't count. So, again, it's just one of those things I just choose not to label myself in this way. Where's my... There we go. I mean, I would never casually diss another content creator by name because as we show you a number of times, I mean, content creators, they create content, all right? So here's the creators, here's the content. People watch the content. I do not have any beef with the creators themselves. I just don't like their content, so I choose not to watch it. And I would like to live in a world where people finally caught on to why I don't like certain aspects of certain creators' content. For example, their holier-than-thou attitudes and their elitism towards certain areas of the franchise, while absolutely criminalizing everything else that doesn't fit to their tastes. There's so much more to gaming than good game versus bad game that it's kind of hard for me to sit here and say that I'm a fan of any series, because every franchise, even your uwu favorite little baby girl franchise, they're all capable of having a game that is not liked by everybody. I mean, even games that maybe are favorite are games that are not liked by other people. I mean, Mario Sunshine is probably one of my favorite Mario games ever. And yet at the same time, Mario Sunshine is also one of the most divisive of the traditional 3D platformer Marios. So you just gotta, you know, pick and choose what's going on. And why did my color get all purple tinted? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my consoles today, but we now have a purple tinted Saturn. I'm just gonna let it happen. Do you prefer Sonic Ride or Sonic R? For different reasons, I prefer each game separately. Like, they are definitely not a comparison. Because, again, like, we are literally talking about a foot racing game opposed to a game that you could probably even compare to, like, you know, a snowboarding game or something. Because you're on boards, but then you're hoverboarding, so it's not even that. They are uncomparable games. So I like each game for different reasons. For example, the stage design in Riders is very, it's very open. You have these huge environments, opposed to Sonic R, where you still have the openness of an environment, but the environments are very small and kind of more tight-knit. Yeah, exactly. My Sonic R just went Sailor Moon on us. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not hating on a creator. I just hate on a specific type of content and specific attitudes that their fans, the fans of the creators, have towards the content that's made, or towards the creators that say certain things. For example, certain creators that have been creating for maybe even a decade by now, who have almost 100,000 subscribers, who can go online and say whatever they want, and it becomes the truth. Which is, you know, not a vibe that I support. I am all for people saying, hey, no, hey, Pretzel, you suck. Hey, Pretzel, you're wrong. Like, that is much better of a community than somebody who just full of yes men who are just going to let me say and do whatever I want. That's a real, genuine issue with any community. I don't want yes men. Like, I want an actual community. People who have different thoughts, different opinions, different tastes. That's where we go for. And yeah, if you think hoverboards are the coolest thing in the world, you're not wrong. Hoverboards are really, really cool. I'm also more of a platformer player than a sports game player, or than a hoverboard player. Like, there are games like 1080 Snowboarding, which is a fantastic game, recommend it. But it's not Sonic R, so I'm not going to play it right now because I like Sonic R more. Like, you can have different tastes, without saying that any game is definitively better than the other, because you can't necessarily define any game as quote-unquote better, because anything that's different is going to be enjoyed by different people. I mean, that's just how things go. People have different tastes. It's always, oh, why can't people enjoy things? Or, you're hating me for my opinions. And then all of a sudden somebody gives you an opinion that isn't, what you like. And next thing you know, it's wrong. Like, no. Like, there's nothing objective. You can't be objective. There is no objectivity. Everything that you think Sonic is something entirely different from somebody else. Like, I've been here from, the get-go of Sonic, and my interpretation of Sonic is going to be way different from somebody who maybe showed up after Adventure was a thing. Or maybe somebody whose idea of Sonic came from Sonic Riders or Sonic and the Secret Rings is going to be way different from somebody whose interpretation of Sonic is what came from Sonic 06. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I know I'm contradicting myself in a lot of things. For example, I do not like longer stages. I do not like longer stages, and yet Sonic Heroes has a lot of long stages, and I do casually enjoy Sonic Heroes. Heroes just falls short in certain areas that I don't really enjoy. For example, I don't like how ham-fisted you are into doing one specific thing to get over one specific obstacle, to the point where you have these giant floating televisions telling you what to do. It's the same reason I don't like Sonic 4 Episode 2, because they have the same thing. Yeah, here's my Polaroid shirt. I'll show it after this course. And see, that's the thing, Ivan. I actually think stages should be like 2 minutes max. Like, I definitely want even shorter stages. And yeah, like, Heroes is also very slippery, when at the same time, I enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog for how slippery it is. It just comes down to how each game handles each thing separately. And again, Shadow has very long stages too. But there's a reason why my favorite stages in Shadow are the shorter stages. I mean, there's a lot of freedom in Sonic Heroes, more so than a lot of other Sonic games. That's why I like Sonic Heroes over a lot of other Sonic games. But to me, like, in my own, like, if I were to make a Sonic tier list of different Sonic games, Heroes would be somewhere smack dab in the middle. Because it has a lot of things that I really like. Because there is a lot of sequence break you can do in Heroes, especially when it comes to using the triangle dive at very opportune places. And you can just, like, fly across the entire stage. It's really, really cool once you know what you're doing in Heroes. Just how the Rocket Excel allows you to jump off of walls or ride up ramps at a super steep angle. It's really cool. It's just different. It's a very, very different game. And I saw your question earlier, Sharon. I just feel like Tails should just be Tails. I don't care if Tails comes out looking green or orange or pink. Like, I played Wacky World's Creativity Studio. You can color Tails however you want. Freaky Star should get a new game. We haven't seen one since 1995. I mean, maybe. But there's a reason why certain franchises don't get new games. I mean, here, take, for example, one of my favorite franchises of all time. We have Knight's Journey of Dreams on the Wii. Sometimes games just don't sell well enough to entice investors to even give a second thought. Investors clearly do not care about the Knight's IP and haven't in a while. The closest we got was when we had the Sega 60th celebration and they literally gave Knights away for free. And that's finally what got people to realize, oh, wait, Knights is actually a really, really cool game. Tails can be all kinds of colors. I mean, take Knuckles. Knuckles is one of my favorite characters to talk about color consistency. I mean, take Knuckles, you play something like Sonic and Knuckles, right? Everybody's TV had different gamma rankings, and it had different ways of displaying red. So some people would see a pink Knuckles, some people would see a red Knuckles, and some people would see a fuchsia Knuckles. Everybody has a different interpretation of how these colors reacted to each other. Especially when we came into the future of LCDs and flat screens and plasma screen TVs, where color just became something entirely different to literally everybody. It's all subjective and it's all up for interpretation. Like, take Sonic's own sprite, for example, where we have entire sections of the world convinced that Sonic isn't even the same shade of blue, all because of how TVs in that area render different colors. And yeah, in the cutscenes, like, if you're Sonic and you're against Knuckles, Knuckles is definitely going to be very pink. But then, of course, when you actually play as him, he's going to be a little more reddish. This is because of color palette limitations back on those cartridges. Because, again, technology is what determines how these things look. I mean, technology at the time is what determined why Sonic Adventure looks like that. I could sit here and rant all day about how bad the Adventure lip flaps are, but it doesn't matter because that was the peak of technology at the time. That was as lip flappy as you could get. Like, you couldn't get these super accurate, like, motion capture mouths that you can in Yakuza. And even the original releases of Yakuza didn't have super accurate lip tracking. They do now, but later. It took a lot longer for that, for the Kiwamis to come out. I mean, even if Tails were orange, he's still a yellowish orange. But even if he were yellow, he's still an orangish yellow. So it just doesn't matter what my thoughts on a color is. It doesn't matter what your thoughts on a color is. All that matters is if there's a game with the character you like and you like that game, great. If you like how that character is, great. If you don't, too bad, so sad, play something else until you find something you do like. It's not complicated, but we live in a content creator space where everybody's so quick to need the opinions of somebody with more followers than them. And I feel like that's a mindset that really needs to die. It really needs to die. I could not give less of a single shit about what somebody with 100,000 subscribers says about my favorite game. When people started, shit-talking Sonic R, because that was the funny thing to do in YouTube circa 2005, 2006. You know what I stopped doing? Watching those creators. I gave up. I said, you know what? These guys suck. They don't know what they're talking about. And I moved on. I started playing Sonic R anyway. I started just playing the games I wanted to play. And then they'd make another video about how Sonic didn't age well or Sonic was never good. And you know what I did? I didn't care. I kept playing the games I wanted to play. Exactly. Like, Sonic fans on Twitter will argue literally about anything. Just how there's no point in making a YouTube video that's so set on saying something sucks or is objectively bad when I'm clearly just talking out of my own ass with my own opinions. That was kind of the whole premise behind my Sonic 4 video. Because it was clearly it was an entirely opinion-focused video, and I was hoping it was obvious enough that, yes, this is the satire of the typical Sonic 4 video. Well, see, that's the thing. Sega will take some of the stupid crap to heart, but only the stupid crap of the people that are hyped up. For example, I could go onto Twitter right now and post, Sega, verbatim, Sega, will you please re-release Sonic Flippy Dippy for the long, obscure, lost console? Sega will ignore me, flat out. And that's the thing. I'm even in the DMs of people who run Sega or worked for Sega. Like, I have the connections, but I don't have the pull because I don't have the numbers. It's people like you guys, like me, who watch these creators who say the stupid stuff, the completely dumbass, head-ass takes, and we support them, giving them engagement, giving them attention, and now Sega does it. Like, it's never just somebody makes a video or a quick offhand post that says Sonic was never good. Nobody cares about that. What happens is when the person who says Sonic was never good is an established game journalist or is a content creator with 50,000 subscribers, which back in, 2008, 2009, 50,000 was a big deal. So it's like you look at this and obviously we are not supposed to be the ones hyping these guys up. We're not the ones saying, hey, do this. Like, we could all post our own thoughts. We could go on anywhere we want, make our own videos, make our own posts, whatever. It's not going to matter as much as it would matter if we were going to be consistently hyping up some dumbass who doesn't know what they're talking about. Like, the thing is, Sega listens to a fault. They see everything. They just choose to ignore everything coming from everybody under a certain follower threshold. That's why the ambassadors were always these huge accounts. That's why Game Grumps, of all people, became a brand ambassador for Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it was because they had the numbers and they had the attention on them. People liked watching that over-exaggerated, hyperbole nonsense, making every single fault like a life-changing, life or death problem. And that's why those life or death problems became the brand. Yeah, actually, Ivan, I'm about 3 minutes into the Sonic Rivals video now, so I'm making some pretty good progress. Do you like Sonic Prime? Have you seen it? I enjoyed the first couple seasons of it. It really started to drag for me by the third season. It's definitely not my kind of show. I mean, it's a TV show on Netflix, so my standards are pretty low. This is from somebody who watched Hops with a Z for, it's a 2-hour fantastic animation experience. You know what? Actually, I'm petty. I'm gonna show Hops with a Z to you guys. If I get copyright claim for this, I get copyright claim. Let me pull up this video. Hold up. I'm gonna show you a snippet of one of the greatest films of all time. Let's see. Where's my movies? All right, here we go. You guys want to watch a little movie? A movie with hard pretzel today? Pulling up my VLC. Here it is. Now, this is the standard of what I watch on streaming content, all right? No, not Hop with Tom Wachowski. Hops with a Z. They spell H-O-P-Z. This is a great movie, and I've been slowly trying to infect certain people with it, but this is the kind of quality that we get.
Hey, Hops. Hello, little bit.
Heidi-ho, Hops. Hey, little bit.
Hey, you two.
Hi. Are you...
This is a cinematic masterpiece, and I forced some friends of mine to watch this with me. It's an experience, but this is why I'm begging people to just stop taking stuff so seriously. So what? A Sonic show came out that you don't like. Okay, it's fine. There's so much bad content in the world, right? There is so much genuinely awful, clearly written by ChatGPT and live rendered through purely AI. It is awful. It is genuinely awful. And yet, people are wasting all of their time hating on Sonic Prime. Who cares? It's a show that you don't have to watch. I don't know who pissed in your Cheerios, all of you content creators in the YouTube space who have to go out of your way to say how the Knuckles show is the worst piece of Sonic media ever made or something. It doesn't matter, man. Have you seen half the stuff on any channel out there right now? Have you seen Teen Titans Go? And this is somebody who actually does enjoy Teen Titans Go. But at the same time, how are you sitting there and saying the worst piece of Sonic media is a TV show you don't even have to watch when in my hands I literally have the Sonic R LCD? Come on, man. Sonic Prime is a TV show. If you don't like the aspects that come with the TV show, maybe that it's being more casual focused, where there's a lot more exposition, where there is a lot of serialization and pushes you to get you to watch the next episode. I mean, for one, it's a Netflix show. Name one more contemporary Netflix show that doesn't end on a cliffhanger to force you to go into the next episode. Like, it's not very common anymore. Every new Netflix original always has some nonsense in it. That's just how these things work. And if you hate Sonic Prime for stuff that comes basically by default to anything on Netflix, sure. Cancel your Netflix subscription. I genuinely don't care. I have zero stock in Netflix. I have zero stock in Sega. I have zero stock in Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you don't like an aspect of Sonic, I will not lose a single dollar or even a wink of sleep if you do not like Sonic. But, you know, just don't bully other people for liking other stuff. Like, if you like Sonic Prime, why would it be my business to bully you for liking something like Sonic Prime? It just doesn't make any sense. But now we finished the Saturn, I think it's time we switch over to Gems Collection. So, let me make sure my Gems Collection is in here. I have Shadow in my GameCube. Who wins, Supersonic or Egg Robo? Depends how you go about playing the stage. Needle Mouse should convert to pretzelism. He's been going on long rants why he's secretly Satan incarnate lately. You know, there is no Sonic game out there, not a single Sonic game, that I genuinely think is worth my time to rant about how bad it is. There is not a single Sonic game that is so bad I have to rant about it. That being said, there is Sonic Extreme, a game that was so bad that not even Sega let it come out. Like, that is a game, but it's not even a real Sonic game because it never came out. And yet, you know, Sonic Genesis GBA is a great example of fun boringness because as much as I may not enjoy the game, as much as you may not enjoy the game, there is a lot of novelty in the fact Sonic Genesis even exists. I played through an entire stream of it over on Twitch a little while ago with a friend of mine. Playing that game, knowing it is a completely destroyed, broken mess. I didn't even get past Labyrinth Zone. And yet, I enjoyed that stream. I got my value out of that game. It was like a $5 cartridge. And you know what? I got $5 out of it because I got like 3 Twitch subs that stream. And yeah, exactly. If you can hate the game all you want. You can not like the game. You could even, the game could be completely falling apart at the seams. But that's the fun of it all. If you can't enjoy a bad game, you should find a new hobby besides gaming. Like, I would go out of my way to play stuff like Bubsy 3D just because. Like, I knew what I was getting into. Just how I knew what I was getting into when I bought an Xbox 360 probably right before the Xbox One came out. And I got Sonic 06, was the first game I got on it. And I also got Sonic Unleashed on it. Just play what you want and go into things with the right expectations. If I were to... oh, why is this so loud? This should not be that loud. There we go. But, like, if... Take Heroes, for example. If I went into Sonic Heroes expecting a very grim, very dark, very serious, no jokes, no nonsense story... It's Sonic fucking Heroes, man. It's Sonic fucking Heroes. This is a really fun game. It is silly. It's lighthearted. You got all the mechanics in the world if you really like to sequence break and break stuff around. It's a really fun, silly game. And yeah, it's all wrapped up with, it's the superpower of teamwork. Let's go, guys. Let's teach that Eggman a lesson. Like, yeah, it's silly. That's the point. It's the point to be silly. Why would I freak out if a game that's designed to be silly is silly? Just how, why would I freak out a game where you're designed to be on hoverboards? Why would I freak out if you're on a hoverboard? I'll play the game because it is the game. It just doesn't make sense. People have the worst expectations for nearly every aspect of every franchise. Like, I don't know why Sonic is the only one out here that is constantly penalized for not meeting the expectations of people who don't understand even the single shred of nuance with any of these games. Like, you know, here's Adventure DX. I know a lot of people in the chat hate this version of the game because the Dreamcast one is so much better. And let me see, I actually should have that on hand. Where is my Dreamcast one? Here we go. I have the Dreamcast one. It even has a hair in it. Look at that. My Sonic Adventure Dreamcast comes with a hair. I have both. And you know what? I'll play different versions of the game for different reasons. But if you go into this expecting everything to be the exact same as this, despite the fact the title is entirely different, skill issue. Like, if you go into this expecting everything that is this, and you've now seen hundreds of YouTube videos telling you about everything that makes this game different, and you still expect it to be this, skill issue. And you know what? To you, Accelerate, this is an unstable game. But to tons of people, millions of people who got this on the GameCube, on the Xbox, on the PlayStation, on Steam, this is how people got introduced to the game, and this is how they got used to playing it. And if they go back and play this one and see how much better the collisions are, how much better the controls are, how many less weird, unusual, like, glitches there might be, great. But you know what I never ran into while playing this game? I never clipped out of bounds. I never ran into weird issues that I didn't cause myself. One of my favorite things to do with this one specifically that you can't do in this one is that I would take Tails and deliberately fly in certain corners and clip out to get myself into stages that I shouldn't have been in. That's an appeal to this game because I love breaking stuff. That was my favorite part of Sonic Adventure, was playing every stage with every character, which is a great way to segue into why I like Sonic R so much and why we're moving over to Gems Collection, because Sonic R lets you play every stage with every character if you want. There's no holdups, there's no blocks, which is why I like this game. Why I like that game more than either of these games. So let me put this back, and let's switch over to my GameCube. And you know what? If you want to talk about games souring the reputation of Sonic, every game has soured Sonic. Every game has also helped Sonic. It just depends on which content creators are making videos at that time. Alright, so you guys actually now get to see the first instance of Hard Pretzel hot swapping. There we go. We have now officially hot swapped. We are already going to GameCube now. All right, and here we go. This should... And there it is. There's our cube. And I do want to switch over to progressive mode, so I got to make sure I switch over. Here's my controller. I mean, I could make a custom no signal graphic, but my capture card doesn't really have that, so I don't really want to mess. Wow, why is my capture card shaking like this? Yeah, there's like 3 copies of this thing loading right now. There we go. It's not louder than my voice, but it is loud. I have a limiter on it. There we go. How's that? Fun fact about Sonic Gems. If you hold L and R on start, it goes straight to the game, skipping menus. Hey, you know what? Sure, let's try that out. I don't think I've ever done that. All right. I'm holding L and R. Let's do this. Hey, look at that. Fun facts with fun boringness. Truly the life hack we deserved. You're playing Gems right now? So you were doing an Egg Robo run, weren't you? Wasn't that your vibe today? All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, if somebody's not playing the game right and they don't enjoy the game for playing it and they're playing it wrong, it of course is a totally valid argument. But it's also a totally valid argument that, you know, if they're sitting here and saying that, you know, for example, what if I wanted the game to teach me how to play the game better? Or if, you know, there's no tutorial in Sonic R. So, I mean, to anybody who goes into Sonic R expecting a tutorial because they're so used to games basically hand-holding you through the first section of the game, obviously they're going to play Sonic R, not have a tutorial, and not learn how to play. Because how games worked back in the 90s and even early 2000s, you didn't get a tutorial. The whole idea was that you would have to learn how to play this game so that you would have this game longer than the rental period was at Best Buy. Or, sorry, not Best Buy, Blockbuster. That was the whole gimmick. They wanted you to spend more time with the game so that by the time you learn how to play it, after playing it nonstop for a week, then you're going to go and actually buy the game because now your rental period at Blockbuster is over. And if it was a high-ticket game, then you're not going to get it. Like, you're not going to get that game again. So it just comes down to what you're looking for. And see, Ivan, that's the thing. A lot of games do teach you how to play. They teach you how to play by playing it. It's a very different mindset that a lot of people just don't have anymore. A lot of, especially classic games, like a classic, like, you know, retro game specifically, they didn't give you a hand-holdy tutorial to teach you how to do it. So if you prefer to have a tutorial, by all means, you're allowed to do that. But that doesn't inherently mean some games are better or worse than others because they do or do not have one. That's just how you see the games or how you view the games. Personally, I actually enjoy games when they don't give me a tutorial that tells me how to do literally everything right from the get-go. I feel like that ruins half the fun of the game because I like discovering weird stuff for myself. I like playing these games and figuring them out for myself. Especially games that have really deep and complex mechanics. Like, I like finding out these crazy mechanics on my own. I don't need a tutorial to tell me that I can hold X while pressing A to now get, you know, these really cool long-distance jumps or anything. I can just do this myself. Like, I can just figure it out. So having that little self-adjusted challenge is something that I enjoy, but it's not something everybody enjoys. For example, I mean, you're playing even just Mario Bros. NES, right? That's the first game that a lot of people had as their first game. I know a lot of people who had Mario Bros. NES was their first ever video game. And yet, you know, that game doesn't tell you how to do anything. You literally are started off, and all you can do is move left or right. And it subtly teaches you how to play through just how the game is designed through itself. For example, you have the enemy you have to jump on. You have the blocks you can hit with your head. The game teaches you how to do that while the game plays. But it doesn't stop you and tell you, you know, press A to jump. Press left to turn left. Press right to turn right. Press up to look up. Like, you don't need that. You really don't need that. And yet, some people really do need that. Especially with games that have more than, you know, 3 different buttons to use. And a lot of modern games really do need all that much because you would not know how to work anything, especially when it comes to menus. But then you have these older RPGs like, say, Phantasy Star, Shining Force, or really most games out there, where these RPGs, these early retro RPGs, They didn't give you a tutorial. They didn't tell you where every little menu was. They didn't tell you where every little thing was. I mean, take Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. They didn't even tell you what the Percy button did until you unlocked Percy. And then it all made sense. Then it made sense why you have a Percy button. It's to talk to Percy. But you didn't have Percy. So the entire time you're playing this game, you have no idea what a Percy is or what the Percy button does. That's just how the game works. You're not supposed to know all this. And if you can actually internalize how certain games work, you'll find out that a lot of games do actually teach you how to play them if you just play the games expecting the game to teach you how to play. I mean, that's, like you mentioned earlier, Sonic R does the same. It does teach you how to play really well on the first level. Because you have a very simple level that teaches you all about the branching paths, teaches you all about shortcuts, teaches you all about navigating and turning and leaning. It does that. And you have all the buttons on your controller to do that, and if you just press the buttons, you'll figure it out. If you guys ever played the Streets of Rage in the Sega Genesis collection on Steam, you literally get an achievement for that's called, I think it's called I'm just figuring out the buttons, and that's because you do your big magic burst within the first 30 seconds of the level because you're just pressing the buttons. Yeah, the PC version is kind of rough when it comes to audio balancing.
Ready, set, go!
And yeah, arcade cabinets would have that because arcades are designed for you to put in a quarter and enjoy yourself. And so the attract mode would often feature a form of a tutorial. Or at least, fighting games would show you what each button does. That's kind of the basis of Smash Brothers and why Smash Brothers has that on their attract screen. Because that came from an arcade fighter style, little board that they would have. And yes, we are doing some Egg Robo Run. This is in honor of Mr. Motos. But sometimes not all games would have this. It's just kind of like just something that's you got to pick and choose. What do you want in this instance? What is more important to you? And if you're the type of person who genuinely needs to have your hand held through the entire game to teach you how to do every little mechanic until the game decides you're comfortable enough to actually play it, then sure. There are plenty of games out there just like that for you. There's plenty of yellow tape out there. You can find your way into any game you want. I personally don't like that. I would prefer to have a game kind of leave everything up to a mystery. There's something so magical about, a game that you play for hours and hours and hours just to find out, oh, wait, I could do this? And next thing you know, it changes how you play the game from the get-go. It adds so much replayability and changes to it that just lets you just play it again. It's really neat. Like a game I play a lot is El Viento. I didn't even realize that you could actually dash over platforms until probably about my 4th or 5th run through the game. And I thought that was really cool because it gave me a new way to play the game. It gave me new stuff to do. Yeah, the Saturn version is definitely one I prefer. I think the Saturn version just looks the best. Not only does it have the best effects, but it also feels like a much more complete experience that uses the hardware to its limit. Sonic R, by the time most people are playing on PC, and by the time most people are playing on the GameCube, I mean, it's definitely not an ideal way to play the game in the sense that a PC could handle a lot more than this. The average PC in the mid-2000s could handle a lot more than what we're seeing on the screen right now. Just how the average, even the average GameCube game could handle a lot more than this. But that's why the Gems Collection is a Gems Collection, and it contains a number of other games too. Where we also get Sonic the Fighters, which was also a game that we had not had a home console port ever until now. And then, of course, because Sonic the Fighters was on GameCube, that's how we found out Honey existed, and that's how we ended up getting Honey added to the Xbox and PlayStation ports of it. And yeah, even games with tutorials don't teach you everything. I mean, take Sonic Heroes again. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in Sonic Heroes, but that tutorial does not tell you anything about using the Rocket Excel to jump off of a wall and just raise up all the way. It doesn't tell you anything about using the triangle dive to maintain your momentum and just kind of fly across the stage. It doesn't tell you anything about any of the cool flips you can do, any of the cool jumps you can make, or any of the shenanigans you can pull by switching formation as Tails. Like, it doesn't tell you any of that. That's stuff you have to figure out, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people really love Heroes, because it gives you that opportunity to learn a lot of that yourself. But I still would prefer to have no tutorial whatsoever. It's not like these games are too complicated to figure out. For example, I am the kind of person who went into Dark Souls without a guide or a tutorial. I just had somebody hand me a controller and say, this is your button that does this is your button that does this, have fun. And I got my butt whooped about 4 or 5 times until I realized that if you just time your block just right, you now have a parry. It was really cool, and I liked it. Yeah, you can only do it in the versus mode, not in the arcade mode, because otherwise it'd be completely broken. It would be entirely broken.
Ready, set, go!
The busted characters are busted for a reason, because they are busted. I mean, Honey I still feel like is at least mostly a fair character, even if she is pretty busted. Because Honey has some really great moves in that game. Chai, I need some help with getting first on Raiden Emerald with Egg Robo. I got you. Just give me another, like maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes and I'll be there and I'll show you. Thoughts on Phineas and Ferb? I mean, it's a very, what's the word? It's repetitive, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Like, you know what you're getting into, and they use that to their advantage very often. There are so many jokes that use the tropes of that entire show in its benefit. You have, you know, every time a character says a certain catchphrase of sorts, that it gets to show it again. While I prefer a lot more variance in my shows, I also can appreciate what Phineas and Ferb did with it. Because it's a solid show. Thank you, I will wait patiently. Well, I hope it won't take too long. We have a Tails doll and then Metal Sonic to do, and then they'll be set. I'm just currently running through here real fast. Pretzel, listen for 1 second. Yeah, sure, what's up? Okay, so my route in Radiant is to never open the ring gates in the first 2 laps. Yep, I do the same thing, Dabby. I mean, I wouldn't really call Free Riders working with a controller. It is an entirely different experience to play with a controller. As somebody who did play through Free Riders with the Kinect, with the motion controls, playing with a controller is definitely it definitely changes the game way too much for me. You ever watch Inazuma 11? 11 is my favorite anime. Please tell me you did. I'm gonna jump over. No, unfortunately I haven't. I'm not really too big into anime, so I haven't really watched a whole lot. But I'll put it on my list. I've been slowly watching more anime these days, so maybe I'll put it in my list. And yeah, a lot of stuff is said to be impossible. That's why things become a reality. Because somebody tells you it's impossible, and then somebody goes and does it. I mean, for the longest time, wasn't there like some crazy speedrunning feat that nobody could have believed it would ever be possible, and then somebody finally did it? I mean, all I know about is that, you know, the dream of like the 7-minute mile is part of my age group. That was the dream. Everybody said a 7-minute mile was impossible, that nobody would be able to run a mile in less than 7 minutes. And then all of a sudden we have people running it in nearly 4. Like, time time changes things. Technology gets better. I mean, I do like Mega Collection. I just like it for different reasons most people do. Like, I prefer Gems Collection because it has Sonic R, obviously. I do have Mega Collection, but Mega Collection Plus is so much better. Mega Collection Plus has a lot more games, and the reason is because that on GameCube and Xbox and PlayStation, they didn't have means of playing all the Game Gear games like you did in playing Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube, which for whatever reason, the GameCube version is the only version that comes with all the Game Gear games. So now, in the Xbox and PS2 versions of Mega Collection, they made Mega Collection Plus. Oh, I do love the DS games. I'll definitely put it on my list. If you have I love my DS. I just haven't played it in a while because I can't stream it. I want to get a capture card for my my 3DS so that I can play some Sonic Chronicles on stream for you guys. That's going to be a video I do want to do an entire video on. Like, I do want to do an entire Sonic Chronicles video. I tried to inject the RTX Remix into Sonic R a few months back, but sadly the game is so hard-coded its own 3D engine that the RTX Remix can't even tell it's rendering polygons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why the PC version is just so different. An unfortunate typo, but still a funny one nonetheless. Out of respect for Crozy, I will not read it. But yes, it was lovely. The Inazuma 11 games on DS. Oh yeah, definitely. So maybe once I watch the Inazuma 11 anime, I'll play some of the games. You know, Egg Robo runs are actually really not that bad if you go in the right order. The biggest issue with Egg Robo runs is that, you know, if you have to go over water, you're basically screwed. But Egg Robo controls very well, so and he also has a very large hitbox, so it's easy for you to grab a lot of rings. You can aim pretty well. Even if the gun is useless and you can't jump, it's a nice challenge run. But yeah, Mega Collection is far from my favorite of the Sonic collections. Gems Collection is probably my favorite, followed very closely by Jam. And then Origins Plus, probably. Then Mega Collection. I used to do that sometimes. Like, I remember playing Sonic Adventure DX over the course of while Sonic X was airing. That was a fun experience, trying to beat the game before, basically before the Sonic X would actually show the episode where I'd do exactly what the show was showing.
Ready, set, go!
But yeah, we're playing on Gems Collection, which means this is a lot easier of a run. Like, I'm not even sweating at this one. The Saturn version has AI that's a lot more devious. You actually have to do some very specific routing. So if you notice, something I'm doing here, I'm actually riding along these angles here. The angles are how you can actually build up speed with a character who can't build up speed. You know, Ivan, it has been a while since I've done my 100%, 100%, 100%. Maybe we could do another one of those. It's been a while. For those that don't know, who aren't in the Hard Pretzel know, the 100%, 100% is where I would play Sonic R to 100% completion with all the characters. And then adding a third 100% was when I would play on every version of the game. So I'd play it on Saturn, I'd play it on PC, and I'd play it on GameCube. Oh yeah, I'm definitely over the whole bedroom aesthetic. I'd much rather just have a list at this point. Just like, yeah, here's a game, you play it. Just pick one. Just call it 300%. I mean, kind of, except I'm not playing, like, if I call it 300%, I'm not playing with every single one of the characters. That's just me 100%ing a game 3 times. I used to do that with the Steam version, just open with the simple launcher, but for whatever reason, it didn't play nice with my controller when I used the simple launcher. So I just use the bedroom aesthetic and just play it and select it. The other percent does have a bit more of a kick. It might be better for a search engine optimization. That we're literally playing 300% of the characters. Yeah, I suppose. Oh yeah, by the way, Mr. Motos, we're on Egg Robo Radiant Emerald, by the way. So as Davy said earlier, or I guess Davey, I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce it, but the Egg Robo Gaming account, the best strategy on Radiant Emerald when you're racing against Supersonic, regardless of who you are, whether it's Tails Doll, whether it's Egg Robo, even if you're using Amy, the idea here is that you just kind of coast behind Sonic as much as you possibly can. Just keep up, drift where you can, keep up as best as you can, get as many rings as you can, because Supersonic's going to be the one opening up all the shortcuts for us, to which we take the shortcut, and Supersonic has no rings anymore. Another big perk to Egg Robo is because of his giant hitbox, you can actually get a lot of rings on that loop. Should asked this before, but what's your favorite Sonic R song? My favorite's Diamond in the Sky. Yeah, Diamond in the Sky is definitely my favorite too. Especially because most people only get to this stage as Supersonic anyway. It's always lovely to hear it. Alright, so now he's opened up this door, and now the rings he's going to get in this next little section will be just enough to open up that next door, and then he'll take a little bit of a boost, but not enough to really go anywhere. To which I have almost 250 rings. At least I will by the time I touch that door. So now he's down to like maybe 15 rings. I'm at 230. I get a zip right on ahead of him. Now Supersonic is down to basically 0 rings at this point. And now I am at 200. And so if you guys remember from any of my videos, the ring speed boost is a very, very real thing. So I have 200 rings of a passive top speed boost, whereas Supersonic has no speed boost. Supersonic is still able to outspeed me without the ring speed boost, but because I can corner better, and because I have all the rings and I can take the full shortcut, that's enough of a lead to get in front in first place. But there we go. There is our Egg Robo run. Oh, yeah. Xavier, ring boost is definitely a thing. People like to, go on about how Mario Kart, I think it was 8, when they threw the coins back in and people were freaking out how, wow, we have 10 rings for 10 coins for a moderate top speed boost. That's so cool. Wow. No. Sonic R gives you 999 rings. You have a 999 ring speed boost. Oh yeah, Prestige, I'm in the same boat. I prefer the design of Radiant Emerald far more than any Rainbow Road, because what we have right now is a stage to actually place your own strategy into it. You have to decide when you're going to open up those gates. You have to decide when somebody else is going to get it. And right now, with Radiant Emerald being literal emeralds in the sky and giant floating rocks, that's something that Mario Kart ended up taking inspiration from long after the fact, besides just being, you're in space and there's colors. Like, wow, surprise. Sonic Colors stole from Rainbow Road. Like, I don't know. I think I'll do one more Gems Collection run, and we'll go back to Saturn. Yeah, guys, don't you know? Mario invented video games. Like, forget everything that came before Mario. It doesn't count. Mario invented video games. They literally call him Mr. Video Game. Because Mario is the video game. Every video game stole from Mario. Well, see, funnily enough, Xavier, Mario did invent breathing. That's why they call him Breathe Man. They call him Breathe Man because he was breathing one day and decided to make that into a video game. Nintendo is really just built different. Nintendo really did that. Now, I'm playing on Gems Collection, which is actually a little bit of a unfortunate here, too, because when it comes to Tails, you can't really take full advantage of his super sharp speed turns, which is a bit of a bummer. So, we'll get through this run real quick, and then we'll, maybe I'll load up the PC version before doing the Saturn version. Mario invented pooping, too. It's how he became a plumber. Exactly. You guys get it. Oh, I'm one ring short. Wow. Oh yeah, these little gaming tube revisionists, they kind of are missing the plot on a lot of things. If I met them in real IRL life, I'd probably just hand them my copy of Gems Collection and have them sign it. Yeah, control mapping is definitely a big selling point of the PC version. No, not my Saturn copy. The Saturn copy, I'm probably not going to ever get signed if I can avoid it. I've already broken one case. If Kyle is in the chat, Kyle knows why I broke the case. But let's just say that for a video, I was not wearing clothes, and I had a copy of Sonic R placed very carefully to hide certain non-TOS things. And let's just say my very perfectly placed censorship was not very perfectly placed, and it fell onto the ground and shattered. So I had to get a new copy of Sonic R once, at least a new case for it. So I do not intend on getting it signed now. May I see it? It unfortunately it was for a birthday video, so I can't really send that to anybody else. 'Cause it's for the birthday. It was for the birthday. But, fun story, I guess, if you are interested. That's actually what led me to finding out another really cool game I've grown to like a lot. So, drop my controller. But, here we go. Let's take another little pretzel yap break. You guys ready for another yap break? Let's see, where's my music? So, when I broke my copy of Sonic R, I needed to get a new case. Buying a new copy of Sonic R was out of the question, because that's like, $100, $200. But you know what is in the question? A random sports game. So, this is the cheapest sports game that was available on the Saturn at the time when I was looking through eBay. And so I used this to replace the case on the Sonic R that I broke. But I felt bad about buying a sports game just to replace the case without playing it. So I popped this game in just to find out that our very own, I'm going to butcher the name on purpose, Jun Sunue, I said it wrong just for you guys, is actually the person who did the music for this game. So we literally have Crush 40 doing guitars in a random sports game on the Saturn, even though this was pre-Crush 40 days. But it is really cool to hear. And the music is really good in this game, and it's a really fun game, and I recommend anybody playing it as long as you're ready to branch out from Sonic content. Yeah, they do make repro cases, but they're not quite the same. They're not quite the same. And plus, the real irony of it is, the random sports game was cheaper. The random sports game was actually cheaper than buying a repro case. Yeah, the plastic does get... There's a lot of repro people who can actually remake these cases. They were actually pretty common back then. These are actually the same cases for the Sega CD, and I believe the PlayStation 1 out here. They all use these very fragile jewel cases. Well, yeah, but then I can't have the physical copy. That's the problem with piracy. You pirate it, you can't get the cool copy for your cool shelf. You gotta go through a lot of steps to reprint it, and then to also style it. It's just a mess. It's not worth it. It's not worth all that effort. Like, I am all for it. Like, if you want to play these games, and they are prohibitively expensive to you, because they are, I mean, I couldn't genuinely recommend anybody go out there and buy a Sega Saturn just to play Sonic R. It's just, it's not worth it. I like it because I think Sonic R is worth it. But if you don't have an obsession over Sonic R like I do, it's not worth it to you. Yeah, out in the States especially, Random Sports Game basically carried the entire console. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going for signatures to be cool. I'm going for signatures because I want the signatures. Like, I don't really care for status or cool factor. Honestly, if I could, I would have TJ and I'd have TJ just sign, like, I don't know, sign my left hand. Like, I just want the experience. Maybe I'd even have him sign my copy of Metropolis Street Racer. That'd be a fun one. I bet they haven't seen anybody talk about Metropolis Street Racer in a while. It's possible to play this game and win without jumping? Oh yeah, definitely. You can do that with Amy. I literally just did it with Egg Robo. Egg Robo can't jump, and I literally played through the entire game. No, not the scratch.
Ready, set, go!
You got PS2 slimmed. Okay, then don't jump as Tails. I mean, yeah, I could. But where's the fun in that? If I want to play as a character who can't jump, why play as a good character who can't jump? I could play as a worse character that also can't jump. Add even more of a challenge. Like Egg Robo, who can't jump. Who's also slower than Tails. Like, you're making a challenge here easier when I already did the harder version of the challenge. It's like saying, hey, play through a game blindfolded. Okay, now play through the game while plugging your nose so you can't smell the buttons on your controller. Like, that's not a challenge anymore. It's different. I do love a good Amy run. Play as Biggie Cheese. I wish. As a kid, I used to play 2 games on my PC. Well, no, 3 games. I had Stunt Track Driver, Sonic R, and Cats with a Z. That was basically all I used on my computer. And what I did, I thought I was being really cool and smart. That if I moved the model files from the Cats game into my Sonic R disk file, then I would be able to play as a cat in Sonic R. I was not very smart. So I did that a few times and nothing ever happened, and I was kind of bummed. But I went through this crazy tedious process because this was back before you could just virtually mount discs. I had to mount the disc, rip the files off the disc by using a disk extractor program. You know, back in my day, we had to do things the hard way. And then I would basically burn a new copy of the disc that allowed me to access these files, to then place it into a secondary disk drive, to then try to migrate those files over into Sonic R once I've remounted that disc. It definitely did not work that way, but I tried. You know, Random Anime Gamer, I did try that. I did it a lot. I did everything I could to unlock Sonic. Not just the cruel melee, but also the beat the entire game without taking any damage whatsoever. Also, shooting every single credit at the end of Melee. Like, I tried everything. I really wanted to unlock Sonic. And those silly fake leaks, they did not help. Yeah, I thought I was being smart. The thing is, I had modded other games that way. Like, there are other games that I had in like take Outrun. You could actually change the music in the game on PC if you just change, like, you just import any song you want, but then change its name in the disc. You'd be able to just kind of play whatever song you want because the game thinks that it's the whatever music Outrun's trying to play. Ooh, I went the wrong way. It's fine. I usually never go this way, but we'll do it this way anyway. We'll be cool. Cool little shortcut. Okay, now you're just making stuff up, Ivan. There is no way that Sonic's in Brawl and Smash 4. What? See, when I was a kid, we didn't even have Dolphin. We didn't even have GameCubes yet. But we did have Genesis and Nesist. Those are how I played a lot of my games. I also was I used SNES 9X a lot back then too. Nowadays, I mostly just use Fusion if I am going to be doing the sneaky way of playing games. But realistically, I don't really need the sneaky way because I have the actual games. And nothing beats the original hardware. Yeah, Fusion's definitely not the ideal. I know there's a lot better ones. But, you know, I've gotten attached to it. I like how clean it is. I like how quick it is to run it up. Yeah, early Delph days with the white squares and 5 FPS. See, but it was so impressive at the time, though. Like, to be able to have a game running on your computer at all that you have to get a console for, even if it is running at an abysmal frame rate, it was still solid. Ah, yes, good old 1.6. I remember using, I think it was 1.4, I think is the one I used the most. I didn't even realize there was a 1.6. Ivan got silenced by Big Mario. Big Mario doesn't want you to know that Sonic's in Ultimate. I think we can trust him now. Maybe it's not Cap. Maybe Ivan's talking the truth. Big Mario silenced him for speaking the truth. Yeah, that's the problem with having a lot of support with a very, very unfortunate product. I mean, I have the same feeling towards RetroArch pretty often. Like, I genuinely do not like RetroArch. It does not run very well. It's a lovely front end, but I would rather just take the individual cores and use them separately, which is what I typically do. Or I just get the actual emulator itself and use that for what it is. Oh, I need to go this way. Like, by all means, if you want to use it, use it. I'm just, you know, I'm picky. Like, why use the MGBA core if I could just get MGBA? Why get the Dolphin core when I could just get Dolphin? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It also doesn't load very well. The achievements are very annoying. The community features are kind of annoying. It's also very slow, but it has a lot of really good compatibility on a lot of devices. So if I want to play on my phone, I'll definitely go with it, because I don't have room to download a whole bunch of cores on my phone. I don't have room to download cores and a whole bunch of individual, a whole bunch of individual emulators where I could just download some cores instead. But the problem is, RetroArch is actively supported by a number of people. It's the normie choice, I guess. And I unironically just said normie, and I really want to wash my mouth out with soap right now. And yeah, it's really a shame that, you know, sometimes just stuff kind of becomes the standard, despite the fact that there's better options out there. And yeah, exactly. It was a proof of concept, but that's about as far as it got. It's so much better to use it literally as its own thing. The core is really cool, but that's it. Like, I'm not going to go again. Like, I'm not going to... Like, it's cool in a technical aspect, but nothing that I want to use. Yeah, exactly. For convenience, it's great, but I'm not going to go and do it again. Like, I'm not going to, you know, do it any other way unless I'm really in a pinch. For example, a couple of years ago, I actually ran a 10K. It was a virtual 10K for one of my favorite charities. We were raising money for Special Effect. GOAT, you already have heard this spiel, so by all means, GOAT is allowed to, you know, switch another tab and watch some Family Guy funny clips. But for the rest of you guys who don't know, Special Effect is my favorite charity. They use your donations to help people with physical disabilities to play video games. And in other words, basically, if you're in a wheelchair, they'll find a way to mount a controller to that wheelchair or even make a custom joystick to basically allow you to play the game in a lot more comfortable of a way. And they have this working with a number of different games too. I've raised probably over $1,000 or $2,000 for them over my streaming career. And this is me being just a tiny little nobody streamer. It's a very fun charity. And so what I was doing, they were doing a virtual 10K. This is back during the pandemic. And what that is, basically, we would use any generic shared run app, and we'd go running, and we'd actually track our routes, and then we'd send them at the end of the event. And so what I did, I actually installed Sonic R on my phone using RA and using the Dolphin core. And I played Sonic R. Anytime I got a donation, I actually had somebody sitting at my desk at home, and I was on the phone with them. And I had I brought along my girlfriend at the time, who held up her phone to film me during the entire process. And I had a Bluetooth headset in, so that as I talked, my audio was routed through my home computer, well, through the phone that's sitting at my home computer, to then, anytime I got a donation, I'd know to go and play some Sonic R. So regardless of wherever I was, if I was in the middle of the road, if I was on the side of the road, if I was in the bushes, I would stop what I was doing and play Sonic R right then and there. And we actually got a good couple of the rounds done. Like, we actually got to play through a couple runs. We had, I think I did Tails most of the way. I actually brought along an 8-bit Dough. I had an 8-bit Dough controller. I had the, it was the M30, the one that looks like a Saturn-style controller. That's the one I used. So I didn't actually use touch controls. I have some standards when it comes to playing games, and one of them is that I do not use touch controls if I can avoid it. Pretz, read the tutorial how to unlock Sonic. You wouldn't believe it. Trust me, I wrote the tutorial. I was there. Oh yeah, definitely Prestige. You and me both. We're on the same page here. I know nobody else is going to believe me, and it's just going to be Pretzel yapping once again. But yeah, accessibility-focused platformer is something that I really feel like there's a market for. And while I know Balan Wonderworld has a bit of a sour reputation from all the Knights fans and people who put way too much faith in seeing a single name on the credits, the game itself was still very good for what it was. A cute little puzzle platformer with a single button. It was really nice, and I enjoyed it, and the boss battles were fantastic. All right, but there we go. There's our second run of the day. Well, I was saying our gems run for the day. What's that you're drinking? This is Arizona iced tea. This is the one with raspberry flavor. This is my favorite flavor, and they never sell it anywhere except for this Walgreens. It's kind of close by. The grocery stores don't carry this. 7-Elevens don't carry this. The little random bodegas don't carry this. The only place that carries this is the Walgreens. I love Arizona. Like, the thing is, I mean, right here, this 99 cents, this right here is law, all right? So, if you see any place selling Arizona for something that's more than the can says it is, I don't buy it. It's the easiest way to protest. Like, what do you mean you're selling an Arizona can for $1.25? It says 99 cents on the can. It's on the can. And it's so great that they actually do this, and they are very dead set on this mindset. Even the Twitter, the CEO, they straight up tell you, if you see a place selling Arizona for more than 99 cents, you know to go buy it elsewhere because you know they're price gouging you. And so they're not, like, I know that any place that says it's not, when they're charging more than this, the price is on the can. If they don't want to give me 99 cents for it, I just get something else or go somewhere else, and it's great. See ya, Random Anime Gamer. Catch you around. Yeah, water's great, but with me, I'm kind of particular with my water. It's got to be just the right temperature. I don't do ice. I don't do ice in my water or really any of my drinks. I also am kind of picky with where my water comes from. Like, certain water just tastes different. Like, if you're a tap water connoisseur like I am, like, take a sip of tap water from Vegas, take a sip of tap water from your house, take a sip of tap water from a hotel. It's all different. Tap water is very different depending on where you go. And so that makes the difference between, you know, where you're getting your water from. I'm a good fan of, like, spring water myself, unless it's Aquafina, because you're just going back to tap water again. Shots fired. But yeah, also, other country tap water is also pretty rough. I had Canada tap water is also kind of iffy depending on where you are. Yeah, we have a water purifier upstairs. We just have a lot of people living in this house, and so the water purifier is always empty because nobody but me fills it. And so everybody just comes up here, they just pour a little glass of water. Whoop-de-doo, look, I'm pouring my water, purified water. It was sitting in this fridge all night long. I sure wonder, some of you would probably want to drink some water after me. Too bad. I'm just gonna pour it on in there, and then I'm just gonna put the empty jug back in the fridge instead of filling it back up because I'm an asshole. Like, I don't know why people don't just refill stuff before they put it back in the fridge, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, you can call them roommates, I guess. It's my family, so I guess they don't really count, but... I don't have a water purifier, I just take all the lead. We have the same problem. Look, it's not even just the filter thing. I go out of my way, all right? Here, you guys want some pretzel philosophy? Let me start the music back up. And let me actually hide the game. So, hear me out. I go out of my way to put all kinds of drinks in the fridge. I fill up the water cooler, but I also put in some Sprites, maybe some Dr. Peppers, some Pepsis, even some Squirts. And you know what people do? They open up the fridge, they take a Sprite, they know where all the other Sprites are, but they don't replenish. So now the next person who goes to take a Sprite, there's no Sprite in there. There's none. Why don't you replenish the fridge? Why don't you replenish the fridge? I'm looking at you, chat. If you take a drink out of the fridge, do you replenish it? Do you put one in there so the next time somebody goes into the fridge, they can get a cold one too? Or are you so self-centered, so down, that you can't bother just put another soda in the fridge when you take one out? It's not hard. It's so easy, but nobody does. And yes, Gonkus, yes. Yeah, see, copper in the water builds character. Lead in the water will kill you. And see, what I do, we have multiple 12 packs. They're underneath our dining room table. So whenever I get a soda, I grab the Sprite, a room temperature Sprite from underneath the dining room table. I go to the fridge, and I take out a cold Sprite and put the warm one back in. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of having a refrigerator. But what do people not do? Put another one in. They never do. Ever. If it's the last one, I'll not get a Dr. Pepper. Okay, but off topic, the zooms in on Pretzel's face. Hold up, isn't he handsome AF? Like, oh, Seku, don't be flattering me. Don't you know I'm married? Wink, 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 wink. Pretz, please just play Sonic R. I gotta sleep. Okay, we'll do one more Sonic R. We'll do it on the Saturn. Let me just go switch up my cables. Oh, I mean, hey, fun. If you want to see some PC Sonic R, Wait, so if Sam is married, then did he? Listen, I will let chat headcanon everything you want to headcanon about my relationships. But for anybody who is curious, the #1 key to any relationship is communication. So even though I am definitely keeping everything above board, just, you know, communication is key. I will not allege anything one way or the other, but just communication is key, all right? If you keep boundaries, you keep your communication up, and everybody's on the same page, everything's fine. Hold up, I'm pinning this message right here. You are so right. You are so right, Prestige. No, Sekuponi, Gonkus is not my wife, and you know for sure Gonkus is not the wife. No, Mr. Moses, if I were becoming an alpha male dating coach, I would say something like, oh, I am the alpha male. Women, bad. Men, good. Women, stinky. Men, smell nice. Money, money. Cars. Assault. Like, that's the real alpha male. Listen, if you have a secret wife, then that's your business. You know what, Seku? I approve of that. You know what? Just for you, Seku, because you approved me having a secret wife, I will go out and get one. I'm going to open up the window. Ugh. Hey, women, are you out there? Seku says I can have another wife. I don't know, I can't hear anything right now. I think the women are too busy playing Sonic R. That's what the real women are. Alright, so I switch these cables out.
This was really my mind was turning. My days were changing. Excitements I didn't expect. I never knew I with you so much.
Reject women, play Sonic R? Ivan, I tried that. I tried to reject women and play Sonic R. You know what happened? I got married. I think Sonic R is the Sonic game you gotta play if you want to stop being single. So if any of you out there are single and you want to stop being single, play Sonic R. I mean, it worked for me. I also played Shadow the Hedgehog. That might help my chances, might not, not sure. Look, Gonkus, if anything, my actual wife is my side wife to Sonic R. Just don't tell her that. I'm playing Sonic R, but I'm still here. Alright, so let me see how I could do this. I have not played PC Sonic R in a hot minute. Let's see if this even still works. Let me get my controller out. I'll let you know in the Discord chat, Gonkus. I believe they might want to be keeping their arrangement secret for all kinds of reasons. So we'll my wife wishes to remain anonymous, but my wife also knows that I am a streamer, and also my wife is literally in the chat right now. It's fine, Gonkus. It's literally just a bit. We're fine. I'll give you the full rundown in Discord if you want to DM me. I don't have any mods installed. But here we go. Let me just save and play. The only mod I have on right now, I just turned on the music fix, so it actually loads music off the disc. Yeah, exactly. That's the idea, Prestige. Yeah, he said to the wife in the chat, it's me. Look. All of my Pretzi Poos. That's what I'm calling you guys for today. All of you are my Pretzi Poos. You're all my Pretzi Pookies. And all of you, every single one, you're all my wife. If you don't want to identify as wife, you'd rather be husband or something, by all means, sure, whatever. But for all intents and purposes, you're all my wife. I'm married to my chat. How's that? You're all my wife. Obviously, you come below Sonic R. I mean, Sonic R is all the way up here. Sonic R is my forever partner. Sonic R is my forever, ever. And then you guys are like, you know, you're my work wives. Is that still a thing? People still call each other their work wives? You guys are my work wives. Sonic R is my forever ever super duper wife. Then there's my actual wife somewhere in the middle there. All right, but here we go. Let me get my screen captured now. Now that we're all wrestling with the identity of with our own identities here. Let's see. I don't know which one's cut. Let me just see what we got here. Oh, it's not quite centered. I might have to fix this. All right, hang on. We'll just do this for now. We'll do that, and now I'll fix it. It's just not going to be centered. Hope this doesn't bother anybody like it bothers me. Well, listen, chocolate-covered pretzel. I know you have a somewhat of a point there that you should not ever date your own clone. However, that being said, I've played Dead or Alive. I feel like that's not a very good a good rule. I'm an ordained minister. No, that's not a joke. I can legally bless the wedding. Perfect. Thank you, Prestige. Can you marry me to my entire chat? I could really use the tax breaks. Here, let's turn down the sound volume just a tad. Because I remember the steps are pretty low, are pretty loud. All right, so here we go. We have now got PC Sonic R for the first time in the Pretzel live stream. I have not... I played this for my Sonic R videos. I got a lot of footage from the PC version. But I also got footage from the Gems version, the Saturn version, because I played all the versions. No. No sound effect hacks. So if you guys want to listen to a lot of Tails fart sound effects, we are here. It is Tails fart time. Can you read my in all caps message? It's funny too. Let me take a look. Which one? Did I miss one? Oh. Sam, if you have the music fix and it's not Sonic R on PC without mods, you mod the game and your opinion is valid. Yeah, no, I don't have the music fix. I don't have... Oh, you mean like the play music off the disc? Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not reviewing the game right now. I'm playing the game right now. This is what I tried to explain to you last night, or whenever it was. It was either last night or the night before. I'm not reviewing the game, and so I'm not telling you this game is good or bad because of this music fix. It'd be disingenuous if I were to say something like, you know, the game is good now because the music is fixed, or this game is bad because I didn't fix the music. I'm just playing the game how I want to play it, which is completely fine. If I wanted to mod in Amy to look like Lightning McQueen, that would be a completely justified experience. But if I were to go and make a review about Sonic R and say Sonic R is a good game because you can mod Amy to look like Lightning McQueen, that's where it becomes a problem. Yeah, sure, I'll scroll up and check it in just a sec. Let me just grab some tokens here. I'm getting used to playing as on a real analog controller again. Ah! Speed shoe. Having a super sharp turn is not ideal here. It's great. I have to get another 25 rings. Yeah, actually, I have. I have a virtual machine I have this set up for if I wanted to. I don't have it set up right now, but I have used it before. I think I still have my Pretzel PC on this PC. Maybe I could set it up one of these days. That's how I did Gus Goes to Cybertown. Oh yeah, if you guys notice, I have the maps turned off here. I forgot to turn those back on after filming footage. Oh yeah, no, Paddle Mouse, that's definitely a very, very fair and honest opinion, and I'm definitely here for it. If you do not find enjoyment in Sonic R, then I would definitely not recommend you ever play Sonic R. That being said, I find reasons to come back to Sonic R almost every single day. And I do play this game at least a little bit every single day. I usually like wake up, play a little bit of it, or maybe I play a little bit before bed. Maybe I sometimes take a break while editing my videos and play a little Sonic R. I have another Discord server I'm in where I usually hop into a voice call and just stream it for no reason. It's fun. I like Sonic R. So, Mr. Proto Blues, I've actually been playing every version of Sonic R today. We did the Saturn version first, we went to Gems Collection, and now we're doing a PC version. I actually do have the Tiger LCD version if you're gonna try to catch me with that. I do have it, it's right here. Ugh. So we do have this one. It's just kind of hard to capture it, so it's hard to stream it. The F keys has some neat features like toggling settings at runtime, spam F2 to increase draw distance. Yeah, it's definitely there. And yeah, you don't have to touch the game. What in the world is that thing? So Tiger Electronics, they are known as a brand, I suppose. Tiger's responsible for making a number of LCD games back in the day. They also made the Gamecom, which I also have on my shelf over there. And yeah, it's just a cool little novelty. It's a cute little LCD game. Back in the day, it wasn't very expensive. It is now. Now it's hard to come by if you find one for less than $100, less than even like $200. Yeah, I think there are a couple, but they're I don't think they'd really necessarily be emulators as much as they kind of are just kind of rebuilding the games, because the games are very simple. But if you want to play the games, you can definitely play the Tiger games online. There's a number of different places you can go for them. I collect them on hardware because why not? It's Sonic R. I want it, so I got it. Maybe Bear's getting some potatoes tonight? Yeah. I was hoping to grab Tiger Electronics for Snake's Revenge. A lot of these games are unnecessarily expensive because these things were, you know, not very popular. They were only provided because they were cheap. Like, you know, at the time, you'd spend $20 and you get an LCD game to tide over your kid who won't shut up about wanting to play, you know, Snake's Revenge. That was the whole point of having the Tiger Electronics version. It wasn't the game itself, but it was enough to tide over the bratty kid that wouldn't shut up about the game. So, now, they're super rare and hard to come by. Oh, GG's on that 1710 with Supersonic. My best time with a non-Supersonic character is Tails. I have like I think a 1783 on my good save file. And that's on Saturn version, which runs a little bit slower. Yeah, exactly. This is the same name, different game sort of thing. But, you know, you do have the 5 levels. You have the island, you have city, you have ruin, you have factory, and you even have Radiant Emerald. It's all there, even if the levels have nothing to do with those levels at all. Oh, whoa. I did not get enough height. That was weird. Okay, let's redo that. Oh yeah, Sonic R really had a lot going for it. And if it just weren't for Sonic fans overreacting to a quick and dirty spin-off to tide people over during the holiday season, it really could have been something even more special. Especially with the 2004 port that brought in a lot of networking support. How good is Tiger's Sonic R, Sam? No Sonic R bias counted, by the way. It's definitely not a game I would recommend anybody get unless they're a fan of Sonic R. So, as somebody who is very biased towards Sonic R, do not get the Sonic R Tiger Electronics unless you yourself are also biased to Sonic R. It is a great collector's piece, a very fun novelty, but it is absolutely not a game that you will probably ever want to play. Like, I'm betting pretty much anybody in this chat right now will not want to play that game. Oh, turned way too sharp there. I mean, I enjoy it a lot, but it's not a game I'm playing all the time. Yeah, if you want to play it, by all means. Like, I'm not going to stop you from playing it, but you probably won't enjoy it. Like, it's one of those things that you have to know what you're getting into and want what you're getting into to enjoy the game. I mean, take E.T. for the Atari. That game is E.T. for the Atari. But at the same time, if you know what you're getting into, you can actually have a lot of fun with that game regardless. People are speedrunning that game. There's a lot of cool tricks in that game. There was a whole video made on that game. Like, definitely, if it's something you're looking for, then you'll go out and play it, and you'll probably have fun with it. But otherwise, you probably won't, because it's still E.T. for the Atari. But there's a whole lot more out there besides, what a game is, if it's good or bad. It's going to be good or bad depending on how you look at it and what you're looking for in your game. Just how Sonic R is good or bad depending on what you're looking for. See, now that's a supersonic time I could actually be proud of. Breaking the 15-second barrier, absolutely solid. Oh yeah, sorry, the 2004 version removed it, but the 99 version had it, right? It was the website exclusive one. Oh yeah, definitely. The plug-and-play devices are very, very useful. The Master System is still rolling down there with plug-and-play games. I think it's beautiful. But it'd be nice if they'd finally move up a generation and start going to the Saturn, Dreamcast, maybe in the N64. It is kind of hard to emulate these games these days, like even now, because this hardware was so unique, because realistically, nobody was ready for 3D. Like, people always say it's the beginning of 3D gaming, but it was the beginning for a reason. Everybody accomplished 3D in different ways. For example, the Saturn that we're playing on, earlier today, they accomplished 3D by doing a lot of different stuff. They mostly used a lot of really cool triangles and sprite patterns in order to simulate 3D, rather than trying to beef up the hardware itself, which is really cool. There's a lot of really cool mock 3D titles on the Sega Saturn. One of my favorites is Guardian Heroes. It is technically a 3D game, but all the graphics are handled through sprites and a very clever use of a, sprite scaling. Very cool and very unique. And basically, it was a Saturn exclusive for the longest time until Xbox finally got a port for the 360 arcade. Which, if you don't have it, I'd recommend pulling it up because it is backwards compatible, so it is still available now. And yeah, 3D was just a buzzword. 3D was literally just a buzzword during the 90s, so everything was advertised as 3D. If any of you were actually alive back in the 90s, which I know most of you probably aren't, one of the biggest marketing pulls for even Sonic 3 was that there were 3D special stages. One of the commercials they'd show all the time was a kid and, I guess, their dad flying a jet and dropping bombs that weren't actually bombs. I can never imagine why this didn't sell well in Europe, but basically are dropping bombs on different towns, but instead of a bomb, it was actually like a Sega Genesis and Sonic 3. And they'd advertise it with brand new 3D special stages. But we all know, like, if you play Sonic 3, those special stages aren't 3D, they're simulated 3D. But, that's 3D. And yeah, exactly. Like, certain games are able to restart development multiple times to get it right. And people always give Mario 64 the credit for being Mr. 3D platformer. But there's so many other 3D platformers that came out beforehand. But also, there were a lot of 3D platformers that came out relatively close to the same time. Which means all these games were in development at pretty close to the same time. I mean, I know for a fact Tomb Raider and Mario 64 were both in development at the same time. Neither one of those games came out, and everybody decided, oh, you know what? Mario came out. better rework everything we're doing. Same thing with a lot of these other early platformers. And yeah, exactly. If you could market it as 3D, it was 3D. I mean, Doom itself, with its whole, you know, ray casting engine, that was called 3D, and even now is still considered 3D gaming, despite it literally just being a very cool sprite scaling trick and very cool just math. It's just math. You calculate the angles, calculate the distance, and have something scale according to how big that distance is. Very, very cool and very awesome. And I wish people would appreciate 3D like that more as what it is, rather than trying to make up something else that it's not. So I need to get one more token. I need to get one more emerald. I messed up my route because I was yapping. There we go. Got the emerald. Let's get this last token. Ah! Come on, come on. I'm not used to playing on this version because I have better controls than normal. Oh yeah, definitely. Croc sold really well, especially for early 3D platformers. I mean, that's how a lot of early 3D platformers literally got carried. I mean, I love Crash Bandicoot, but Crash Bandicoot was kind of carried by the fact it was a 3D platformer in an era of 3D being the coolest thing in the world. Same thing with Spyro. Like, they're not games I'm going to rush to go back to. They're great games, and I love them, but they're not the same kind of thing. I use both. I use both paddle mouse. I use the shoulder buttons and the control stick. Because the shoulder buttons are how you can lean, and the analog stick is how you kind of move. So if I just do analog stick, it's that. If I do both, I can turn way sharper. If I just tilt, I just tilt. You have to use both in order to really optimize where you're going. We're always Sonic yapping over here. Oh, yeah, 1543? Absolutely. That is a very, very good time. I don't really run Resort Island as Supersonic very often. But there are some pretty crazy times you can get on that thing. Well, that's the thing, Gonkus. That it is a very accurate comparison. But you know what we're going to have people say? That they don't have to shift gears because they're so used to driving cars that are automatic transmission. Like, I prefer to drive a manual transmission myself, but everybody always wants to drive just the automatic because it's easier and it makes more sense. And there's not really accurate tutorials for every single individual car because every clutch is different. Every clutch has a personality, and you really only learn that after you drive stick for long enough. You got me wanting to try a lap myself. Oh, I missed the trees. All right, I got a 1630. Not bad for completely unpracticed. Oh, yeah, for all of you youngsters in the chat that don't know what a car is, back before cars were so, you know, fancy-dancy and computerized, they had a thing called manual transmission. And you had to actually manually shift between low gear and high gear. There we go. We got a 1630, 1556, and 1543 with a 4730 overall. Not bad. I had a mini car when I was on 3. I was an expert. I should know. Yes, definitely. 1536, keep up. I can't beat you. I can't beat you, Mr. Motos. I'm also playing on PC. PC is a little bit different. I feel like the characters move a lot faster in this one. So with gems specifically, you can't actually turn as sharp. So that's kind of why I was able to get such low times in one go. The PC version has the characters control a lot more slippery, if that makes sense. Which in one way is a bad thing, but also in another way is a great thing, because I do enjoy some slippy sliding. Just got a bottle of water. Awesome. Is it chilled or is it room temperature? Replace it. Yes. Yes, if you took the water out of the fridge, replace it. Fill it back up. Put another one in the fridge. That is a rule now in the Heart Pretzel chat. We either blame Gonkus, and we also make sure we refill the fridge when we take one out. How many more times are we going to play Sonic R? Let's see. It is 6:31. I got a little more of my video to finish. I want to get some of my video done today. I want to see if I at least get another minute of my video done tonight. Or at least another 15 seconds at my rate. Maybe we'll do one more run of Sonic R on the Saturn, and then we'll call that it for the stream. When Zero Gravity stream? Probably after I get my next couple videos done. Because my video right now is obviously the Sonic Rivals video. That one's the one we're about 3 minutes in on now. And then there's the I have another video planned after that. There's 2 different videos I'm working on aside from this one. I don't know which one I'm gonna publish first. They're both kind of just pretzel yapology videos. And then my next game video is probably gonna be on Sonic, a particular version of Sonic Heroes that people forgot about, and I could be the only one that does a video on it, which would be pretty nice. Have you seen that proof of concept level mod? Not yet. I haven't seen a lot of mods for Sonic R. The last big mod I saw was the entire like Mania retexture. Oh yeah, no. Roboblast 2 is fantastic. Anybody who's complaining about Roboblast 2 is not somebody I talk to. They're just haters to be haters. The McDonald's minigames for Sonic Heroes. Well, I mean, I do have those. I do have the McDonald's minigames for Sonic Heroes, but that's not the video I'm doing. Alright, so let me get out of this menu. Which, by the way, you can exit the credits by holding A and pressing start. Like, I understand, like, I personally don't vibe with certain members of the Roboblast 2 community. I do appreciate the fan game for what it did, though, and I do appreciate the fact they were able to build a community on something like that. Alright, so let me go, and I'm going to go and adjust my Saturn, see if the colors will fix, and then we'll get going on our last run of the night. So, I will throw up my BRB screen right here. You see it? We're BRBing right now. Wow, look at that. Look at the music on. And let's get our final Sonic R for the night set up. All right. I think we are good to keep going. Let's get our last Sonic R set up. Game capture. Let's get you. I love seeing Sam's arm. I hope so, because you're going to be seeing it a lot. Am I on the right input? Ugh. Now, why is my quality so low again? Is it doing the thing? I think it's doing the thing. Because it should not be this low quality on my stream. It's still purple. So let me turn this off again. Turn it back on. I'm getting a lot of interference here, which I shouldn't be. So what if I hide my scene here? Just turn off my scene entirely. And let's bring it back. Oh, you know what? What if I change up how I have this thing captured? So I change this, just deactivate it. Let's use hardware decoding, see if that helps my CPU. Let me switch this up. Let's deactivate it. Hardware decoding. Deactivate when not showing. Okay. Alright, that looks a little bit better. It's still not the cleanest, but it'll do for now. Now, where did I just set my... It's a little bit purple tinted, but I'll mess with this offline and see what I can figure out. But at least it's clean again, which is what I was looking for. So we at least have a clean capture. We're going to be now playing on Saturn. We started with the Saturn, we went to GameCube, we played PC just now, and now we're going to do Saturn one more time to end this off for the night. Yeah, Gonkus was busy, and Gonkus was eating peanuts and couldn't help out, so that's why we ended up, you know, we're blaming Gonkus for a lot of stuff. I remember playing Roboblast 2 for the first time in a long time. When they updated it, that was very wild. Like they the last time I played Roboblast 2, they only had a couple levels in the game, just in general. And now all of a sudden, like when I played it more recently, they not only have new levels, but they also have an entire tutorial. They changed up how the Thok worked. It's just a bunch of crazy stuff they did. Really cool work made by the teams and everybody involved on it. Yeah, we have a different hashtag every day. At this point, it's just... At this point, I feel like it'd be a crime to not tell you guys that the hashtag of the day is going to be, you know, replenish the fridge. Look, if you're the type of person to take a soda out of the fridge and not put a cold one back in, I don't know how I can even talk to you anymore. That is almost ban-worthy. Yeah, they're making a lot of changes to that game. There we go. It's a little bit purple tinted still, but it looks fine. We have good frame rate here. The Thok. It was a really useful movement mechanic in Roboblast 2, but they're changing it up to do something else. Like they're like moving it to like a homing attack now, aren't they? Like, you do an Amy run? Yeah, sure. We're on a. Unfortunately, we're on the Saturn version, so there's a one particular difference in that we actually can't unlock the Robot Masters and the Emeralds in the same race. Even if we get everything at once, the tokens take priority. So we don't actually keep both. We'd have to play the stage again to get the Emeralds. So most runs usually involve you getting the Emeralds and coming back as Supersonic to get them. So I can show you guys what ends up happening. And I can show you how much of a pain Metal Sonic is to fight with literally anybody who isn't Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. It's a pretty tight race normally. Yeah, I could do a Knuckles. Oh, I just got shot. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Well, yeah, that's the idea. Her boost is supposed to be hard to control, so that way it's more of a reward rather than just a press for free speed button. Like, this isn't like a Boost Sonic game where all you gotta do is press the button to go fast. This is a game where you only have a little bit of fast for a little bit of time, and if you abuse it, you're screwed. Wow, Knuckles is way up there. I might have to do some shenanigans to get up there. Honestly, I would have liked to give Amy just a little bit more speed in general, or to put her boost on a 10 ring, like Eggman's lasers are, or not lasers, missiles are. Yeah, I think we're gonna make it anyway, but it's fine. We weren't gonna be able to keep the Emerald as is, just because of how this game works. But you know what? We'll try it again. Stop the boost. I don't hate boost. I don't hate boost. It's just something that I would prefer to play something else. If I were actually a boost hater, I'd be saying, like, you know, Unleashed and Colors are the worst games ever made. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'd rather play something else. But I'm not saying that, you know, Temple Run or Subway Surfers are terrible games and you should feel bad if you like them. I'm just saying that I do not play those games very often. I mean, Speed Battle is also a really great game. And it plays very similar in concept to certain elements of certain boost levels. There you go. We got shot again, but that's fine. I'm going to get the Emerald on lap 2 instead. At least I was hoping I could. I'm going to have to get the Emerald on lap 3. Oh, I already opened this. Oh, well. So I could get the Emerald on lap 2 if I get some decent rings here. Ah, perfect. Like, even if a Sonic game came out that is literally nothing but Subway Surfers, it's still a good game, even if I don't really find enjoyment in it. I mean, I've played Sonic Dash. That's basically the same game, and it's great. It's a great game, even if it's not the game I want to go back and play very often. Yeah, whatever. I'll just get the tokens, and I'll show you guys what happens to the Emerald in the robot race. I forgot I'm on hard mode, so I can't really be showing off with Amy. I gotta actually just do my route. This stream's tag. Stop the boost hate. But the thing, I don't hate boost. I actually really enjoy the boost games. I have the boost games.
Set, go!
Like, if I actually did hate a boost game, it would be Sonic Generations, and that's technically the best one. Stop the gens hate. Never. I'll never stop it. A few things, really. I mean, for me, it's just personal tastes. It's an anniversary title, so it's not going to deliver anything really new or groundbreaking. It does what it does really well, but that's kind of it. It doesn't do anything else. It's Sonic Generations. The story's kind of lackluster because it's Generations. The, classic Sonic does not play like a classic Sonic game would. It plays like a janky 3D classic Sonic, which again, that's the point. It's not supposed to be a classic Sonic accurate classic. It's not like it's a bad game by any stretch. The music is fantastic. There's a lot of work put into the game. There's a lot of really cool areas. But, the thing is, like, I want to play something for a new experience. I'm not going to play a game for something that I could get literally any other time. If I wanted to play Green Hill Zone, I could play Green Hill Zone. If I wanted to play Planet Wisp, I would play Planet Wisp. Like, I don't need to get a compilation game to experience that. Oh, thanks, Knuckles. Thanks for bumping me out of the way. I needed that. Now let's just hurry up and finish. Let's see how I get wrecked on Metal Sonic. And yeah, it's definitely a very unique game, and it does what it does really well. It's just not something I really care for. And since I don't really care for Boost Sonic to begin with, now that we have the boostiest of Boost Sonics and the classicest of classic Sonics, another thing I'm not really too big of a fan of, duct tape Classic together with Boost, it's not really something I really am rushing out to go play. Like, it's there. It exists. But it's not a game I really want to mess with. Like, I'm not playing the classic Sonic games very often, even if Sonic Generations did have a very good classic Sonic, and it had a very accurate classic Sonic. It's not something I'm going to go to. Like, I don't even play Mania that often, and Mania is fairly accurate to what classic Sonic gameplay used to be anyway. Going as far as to recreate a lot of the same elements. Now, what you're seeing me do here, I'm booty bumping Metal Sonic to propel myself forward as needed. There we go, it's booty bump again. And now we'll just boost our way to victory. And we will take our boost at the end here. And that's how you beat Metal Sonic on hard mode on Saturn, which you normally can't do. And yeah, definitely. I mean, Generations reused a ton of assets and it reused a ton of stuff. Like, that's the whole point. It's an anniversary title. Like, I'm not using this as a dig against Generations, just as why I personally do not enjoy it very much. And why people hyping up Generations kind of don't know what they're talking about. Because if they want to say Generations has no faults, it's the perfect Sonic game, and then turn around and say a different game with the same issues is now the worst game in the world, I don't know, it's a little double standardy. It's a little inconsistent. Like, if you really want to harp on Sonic games for their terrible stories, I mean, you gotta put Sonic Colors and its terrible story on the same footing as Sonic Generations and its terrible story. It's the same writing for me. You gotta put it on the same par as Sonic Forces. You gotta put it on the same par as any other Sonic game. The stories are just not ideal. And that's the point. It's not supposed to be a good story. Same thing as everything else in the 2010s. None of the stories were very, very good. Yeah, but they're choosing to ignore it. They're allowing themselves to ignore Generation's story because, the game, as long as the gameplay is good, it's fine. As long as the gameplay is good, I'm okay with the game having a bad story. And that's a completely fair point to make, that, if the gameplay is good, you don't care about the story. So what if you like the gameplay in literally any other game? A lot of people like the gameplay in Lost World. It's a very, very, very different way to play Sonic, and it's a way that a lot of people enjoy. They like having that level of control over running on the walls, bouncing, but the story is still hot garbage. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be a game. Gameplay's all that matters, right? So why does it matter there's no story? Same with Sonic Frontiers. People love the gameplay in that game, just as many people are complaining about the story in that game. And I definitely messed up my routing there. Let's try that again. You don't get it, Sam. I don't like it, so it's objectively bad. Exactly. See, Zodic, I'm glad you understand. You understand.
Ready, set, go!
So you caught me. I don't like Generations, so it's objectively bad. In all cases, all the time, for everybody, forever. Grrr. I'm the big bad Sonic fan. Can you imagine? Like, there's so many more things I'd rather use my time. For example, I'd rather waste my time playing Sonic R, because it's not a waste, than I would complaining about a Sonic game that I don't like. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Frontiers either, but you know what? I'd rather play this than just sit here and whine about Sonic Frontiers. I don't have Subway Surfers gameplay, Jerry. I'm sorry. Ah, there we go. We got enough rings. So let me just take this and finish up the race. Hopefully we can still make it. Hard mode makes this tricky. I haven't done an Amy hard mode on Saturn in so long. I miss it. I should do more of these. Yeah, I know. I was here for it. But if Crozie's going by Jerry now, who am I to judge? Come on, come on. There we go. We made it. So unfortunately on the Saturn version, the out-of-bounds glitches are a lot harder to do. Almost impossible, outside of specific circumstances that are almost accidental. For example, I have to basically, with Metal Sonic, there's a specific clip you can take in Reactive Factory where you have to be going just fast enough at just the right angle to slip on through. Whereas it's not as easy to do here. If I were on the Gems collection, I probably could. Well, see, that's the thing, fun boringness. At this point, it's too predictable. It's too predictable. You can't just say it's not as good as you think anymore and still pop off. Unless, of course, you're a giant account and you're known for negative opinions on Sonic games. In which case, then it will pop off to 1.5 million views. And see, Ivan, that's kind of the point. Like, Ivan in Prestige, if you value different things in your games, for example, I couldn't give less of a shit about story in a game. Like, I'm literally playing Sonic R right now. There's absolutely no story to be had in this game outside of what you can read in the manual and what you can infer from just random details through here. If you want to make an overcomplicated analysis of the lyrics in every stage or how the stages are built around what those lyrics are about, then yeah, you have definitely a number of points in here where there is story that can be inferred, but it's not necessarily world building or anything novel to be told. This is just a game to play. So for me, that's fine. I mean, take a game like Alien Soldier, where the entirety of the story is told through a Star Wars scrolling text at the start of the game, and it never comes up again throughout the entire game. You might meet some of the characters that got shout-outs in the intro, but they don't have any plot relevancy whatsoever. That doesn't mean Alien Soldier is a bad game, and in fact, very far from it. Alien Soldier is one of the greatest games I've ever played. But at the same time, I just don't value story. Like, I don't put story on a pedestal compared to any other mechanic I could find in the game. I prefer gameplay myself. But that being said, there's a lot of games that genuinely would not work without story, and I just went the wrong way. My routing has screwed up. It's fine. We don't have to get third place. I got a time of 47, 46. Ooh, that is really clean. That is really clean. Yes, Hex, we're playing on Saturn right now. We're currently in hard mode, playing as Amy, because why not? Currently in 5th. I just have to get to 3rd so I can unlock the Robot Masters. Unfortunately, on Saturn, we don't have the ability to get the tokens and the emeralds in the same race. So we have to just go for the tokens first and then come back to the emeralds. Crozzy, you're not going to believe this. There's a guy named Jerry who's trying to take over your identity. Mood. Alright, let's get the last couple tokens here. Well, we got one more token, then we just got to finish the stage. Oh, here's a cool trick you can do with literally only Amy. It's called instant acceleration. You can literally just press A when you have a boost ready and just get to your max speed right off the spring. No other character can do that because no other character has an instant boost. That's actually how you can take this stage pretty easily, even against real characters. But again, this doesn't really apply when you're playing the Gems version because hard mode is basically normal mode on the Saturn.
Ready, set, go!
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have a whole lot of mods. I'm not really a guy for modding my games when I have the vanilla versions of them. That's not to say I don't support the modding communities. I just would rather not play them myself when I have the ability to play them unmodded. Especially since I am, you know, in the position of discussing these games as they released. It'd be very disingenuous if I was showing off these games in a way that, you know, if I was trying to review these games or tell you about these games or why you should play these games or why they're not as bad as people say or something, just to turn around and say, the game is just fine, but here's a list of mods that I did to get to that point. You are really breaking some records here, Motos. I don't even know I don't know what the world record is with Supersonic. I think Supersonic records are like down to like 13 seconds once you incorporate counter drifting. But those are really good times. Because you're playing on Gems, too. It's a lot harder to counter drift. Oh, yeah, no. When you're just having fun, when you're just playing for the hell of it, you can put whatever mod you want. If you want to have the Lightning McQueen mod, if you want to have the, you know, the Sonic Mix, all of the, just a whole bunch of, like, Vine sound effects. You have the Vine boom. You have the TikTok sounds. Every time you jump, it's just a Vine boom. Every time you bump into somebody, it's a metal pipe hitting the ground sound effect. You could do that. For your own enjoyment of the game, if you're just streaming it for fun, if you're just playing it for fun, whatever you're doing, if you're playing it for yourself and you're not trying to pass it off as a genuine experience in any way, by all means, like, there's nothing wrong with having mods. Like, I very much support that element. That's where creativity really shines. That's where a lot of people got their start modding games. People got their start in programming and modding games just for doing silly texture swaps, audio swaps, and whatever they want. That's the whole point of the modding community. That's the whole point of modding games, to make it how you want it to. But if I were, you know, playing a game that's notorious for crashing on boot, right? There's a handful of games out there that if you put the game in your computer, you try to open it up, it would just straight up crash. Or, better yet, I actually have a real world example right here. Where did I set it? Where's my copy of Croc? Here it is. So, for those that don't know anything other than Sonic the Hedgehog, here is Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, a game released on the Sega Saturn. If you guys don't know anything about this game, there's a notorious glitch in here that, you know, was on release, an on-release, near game-breaking glitch, where if you had the game in your Saturn when you turned on your console, you would have a whole bunch of texture issues and a whole bunch of, ghosting issues, to the point your game would slow down and eventually crash. Why is Sam showing a blank Saturn case? Shut up, Caucus. But it was a very unusual mod, unusual glitch, to the point that out in Europe, they actually had to pack it along with a disclaimer on how to fix it, where basically you had to go back to the Saturn launch menu, or the home menu, by lifting up the disc tray, putting the disc tray back in, and then you're able to, you know, play the game as normal. Croc, me the thing you wear on your feet? Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. It's just a weird glitch that happened in development due to a shoddy port job from PlayStation. It happens. And especially happened a lot more in the 90s. And there's a pretty easy fix for it. Just turn it off and turn it on again. Very easy fix, very simple problem. But that specific issue is something that was a huge selling point for a lot of people. Even though it was a very easy thing to fix, it was still technically a game-breaking bug. And even though there are definitely very easy fixes around it, even though obviously I could just turn it off and on again, and even though I could just easily mod this fix out, it's still a very serious issue with the game. And so if I were to make a review on Croc, Legend of the Gobos, and fail to mention a very serious game-breaking bug that destroyed the game for a number of people, it would be a very dishonest review or criticism of the game if I didn't also include that. Just how it'd be very dishonest if I were to, complain about the game and say this is the worst game ever made, but all I talk about is that specific glitch, despite people still enjoying the game and how easy it is to actually fix it. And yeah, a lot of games have crazy at-launch game-breaking glitches. I mean, take Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, for example. Those games are held together with duct tape and hopes and dreams. They are not very sturdy games, especially Pokemon Yellow. And yet, at the same time, they're still revered as some of the greatest games of all time because a lot of those glitches, if you encounter them, it's just easy to save, load your last save, or maybe even you don't encounter them because, you're playing this like a normal little kid would. Oh, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Come on. Come on. Clutch. Clutch it out. Clutch it out. Clutch it out. I didn't clutch it out. Retry. But yeah, a lot of bugs exist in a lot of games. And if you were just simply mod things out, or even if you were just trying to change up the textures, make it look HD, because upscaling is a very messy business. For example, I'm playing on hardware right now, on my Sega Saturn original hardware. And the reason I can do this is because I have a $300 upscaler plugged into it. I literally paid $300 on top of the, $300 plus I spent just to get a Saturn and Sonic R on it. I got a $100, Saturn itself. I got my Saturn for $100 with all of its cables, and then I got a $100 Sonic R Saturn game. And then I also spent another $20 to get a Saturn SCART cable. It's not a very cheap entry. And, if I were to sit here and review Sonic R only on the Saturn and tell people that, oh, you know what, there's no other way to play the game, get over it, no, that'd be very dishonest. It'd be straight up a lie. And it wouldn't be, I have a little too much integrity for my videos to stoop to that level. Unlike some people who will make a video and then say, here's a bunch of mods that make this game actually good, goodbye. I'm not that type of person. Especially when the mods do significant changes as well. There's a whole bunch of mods that significantly change up games. Take any number of Secret Rings controller mapping modifications you can do, so you can actually Secret Rings to the controller. It's an entirely different game. And so you could review it for the sake of it being that entirely different game, but it's also still very different. Honestly, Accelerate, there's a lot more creators than just them, even if they're the one that's the most notorious at this point. For every one creator like that, there's 100 copycats and 100s that were doing it before then too. The Sonic creator space has always been very my way or the highway. It's this or nothing. And if you like anything else other than what I like, it's a problem. That's been the norm of the Sonic community since day one. And even though there is one particular creator who emphasizes that remark tenfold, they're not the only one. And that's why I don't like singling creators out by name, because it's a very common mindset just throughout all creating spaces rather than just this. There's not necessarily hate lore here. It's just more so we have people in the chat that, disagree with certain viewpoints. Which again, disagreement is fine. I'm not taking digs at anybody's, opinions. All I'm taking a dig at is if you are the type of person to immediately go onto Twitter and say, I just watched this video, which means I'm going to repeat their opinion word for word as if it were my own without doing any research of my own. I said goodbye. I said goodbye, Gonkus. I read your message. Unless I'm gaslighting myself, but get some good rest, Gonkus, if you are leaving. Good night. And yeah, everybody likes different content for different reasons. For example, my content is quite literally insufferable and terrible. I literally have a video up, and every 25 frames, I have a new scene already on my videos, right? I got something flashing on screen, got text showing up for literally 2 frames at a time. I got sound effect after sound effect, metal pipe fall, Family Guy funny clip. You're watching these videos and you are basically, on crack. And you finish the video and you take crack just to slow back down, right? Like it's a terrible video. People hate this type of content. And I know people hate it because I get the comments telling me they hate this content. It's just a different kind of content. Just how for years, it's not just this one particular creator that we're talking about in the chat, but there's a number of creators who will place a video where all it is them talking about something with some unrelated B-roll footage in the background. Exactly. Like they will play Subway Surfers gameplay while they're talking about the current YouTuber drama or something.
Set, go!
Like that's it. There's absolutely nothing going on. No edits, no graphics. Maybe if you're lucky, there will be a Vine boom in there or two, but like it's not the same kind of content that people, want. It's different creators create different kind of content. And that's why I don't hate on the content itself. I hate on the message being delivered by the content and the way the message is being delivered. For example, if you are criticizing a game, but you're not playing it even remotely close to how it was intended, for a long time, there's been a number of content creators who would straight up emulate games like Shadow the Hedgehog on a very incomplete version of Dolphin, and then you'd see this texture tearing, you'd have a whole bunch of unnecessary crashes, and a whole bunch of crazy stuff that wouldn't happen in the original. And people were treating that like it was the original version of the game, and they were reviewing it like these issues were even remotely close to what would happen in the vanilla version of the game, which is absolutely not the case at all. That's not what happens in a number of games. And same with Sonic R. Sonic R is a very easy game to put onto Dolphin nowadays, but it wasn't always that way. Did I already grab this one? I did. I messed up my route. Let's restart. I mean, it's a very old videos. You have to go back to ancient days of YouTube. I don't even remember the creator anymore. Same thing with Sonic R. A lot of videos came out where people were just like, oh, this game looks terrible. It's so bad. And there they go. They're playing it on a very scuffed emulator with like 100 different mods. It just doesn't look good. It wasn't until a lot late game Sonic R modding where the mods actually started looking pretty good. I mean, I know you can relate to all the Sonic Adventure DX people. People reviewing Sonic Adventure, but they're only playing the DX version. I mean, you've talked about this very, very poetically several times. It's disingenuous to how the game's supposed to be. Obviously, I don't have any specifics on hand because I don't make it a point to hold on to these videos and, dig them up whenever I need to show people how bad somebody is at creating content, because that's not the vibe I go for. I'd rather show off what actually matters or, some cool stuff or videos that I really think have stood the test of time rather than stuff that, is very topical, very ignorant, very one-sided. Like, I remember after I published my first Sonic R video on the channel, right? Eventually, I started getting recommended other Sonic R videos, right? As YouTube does. And somebody actually put out another Sonic R review, relatively close to mine. And every single complaint they made was point for point a praise I had about this game. And the thing is, they kept complaining about the controls, when they were trying to play this in the worst way possible. Like they were trying to play this on keyboard and mouse or something, and I'm just like, you don't do that. It's a mouse mod. You don't need a mouse mod for Sonic R. But they were trying to play it on keyboard and mouse, so the mouse would control the camera, and it just didn't work right. It kept breaking stuff. And yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why I don't really review each and every game individually. Yeah, there is a camera in Sonic R. It's literally how I'm viewing this right now. I have no idea. I mean, you use the camera to turn in Dark Souls if you play mouse and keyboard, so... Yeah, I can control the camera. Look. I'm controlling it right now. See? It's good. It's a camera I can control. Yeah, exactly. You're reviewing a scratched disc and being pissed at the game, instead of, like, you know, the fact it's scratched. Oh, you mean separately from the character? No, you can't do that. But I believe there was a mod you could use to map the movement left and right to the mouse, so you could actually rotate left and right with the mouse. And yeah, exactly. Like, people are going to be playing Secret Rings or Black Knight with the controller mod and say that the game is good or the game is bad, or, like, you know, they're trying to play this game on, like, Secret Rings the controller and say, wow, it's so boring, it's so easy. Because of course it was easy. You're playing it on a controller, a way that it's not meant to be played on. People want to play games in the worst way possible so they can criticize the game. That's all it is. Disingenuous reviews because you're not playing as intended. Exactly. It's like if you went out of your way to perform the black hole glitch in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then decided to call Smash Bros. Melee the worst game in the world and how broken it is because there's a glitch that you had to follow very specific steps to do in order to break it. Whereas there's a lot of other glitches in Melee that you just happen right off the bat, and those are easily game-ruining bugs. For example, if you got an early edition Melee, Ganondorf doesn't even have half of his hitboxes. That's what makes the game so silly and fun, in my eyes. I mean, it's still my least favorite Smash Bros. Game, but I still enjoy it a lot for how goofy and silly it is and how busted it is. Mario could use his cape while somebody's getting up on a ledge and just warp to the other side of the stage. And that would actually happen. Like, that's just how these games work. They're silly, they're broken, they're video games. That's why they're fun to play. Oh yeah, you could definitely tell that Secret Rings had intentions of a lot more gyro. I mean, it depends what you how you phrase the review. I mean, if I were reviewing SADX and I were specifically reviewing SADX, then sure, if you consider the issues in SADX game breaking, by all means, it's game breaking. But if I were trying to say that Adventure DX is the only way to play Sonic Adventure, that would be very disingenuous. That would be unfair to Sonic Adventure, especially when the game itself doesn't have those same issues. But at the same time, I would actually prefer to play something like Adventure DX because the stuff that DX adds or changes is stuff that I would actually want to play the game for. I actually enjoy DX for being able to clip into certain areas. Like, I spent hours and hours using Tails and Knuckles and Amy to clip into Emerald Coast because that's what I find fun about that game, not the game itself. And I've played both versions. Like, I've played Adventure on the Dreamcast. I have a Dreamcast on hardware. I even played Adventure on stream a few times, on Twitch, of course. But it's just, I'd rather go to the DX version because it also comes with Tails Sky Patrol. It comes with Sonic Blast. It comes with Sonic Labyrinth. Like, it comes with games that I want to play on it that the regular Adventure didn't have. It adds different stuff and changes things. I'm not going to say one version is better than the other, but I will say that I prefer one over the other. And if I were to sit here and review Adventure DX and call it Sonic Adventure and say, "Oh, look, I can clip through the walls and go to Emerald Coast. This game's broken. It's bad. It's terrible. Rah, rah, ree, ree." No. I'm not a fucking moron. It's a different game. It's an entirely different game, and you have to review it at that point. Yeah, exactly, Ivan, you get it. It's an entirely different game. It's an entirely different game, so you have to treat it that way. I mean, it's why when I was showing out Sonic R in my Sonic R videos, I tried to keep things as open as possible to every version anybody could play, because people will play different versions at different times. If I actually wanted to make differences between the Saturn Gems Collection PC version, I could. I could nitpick every single difference between every single version, and I definitely prefer the Saturn version over all the other ones. I mean, the Saturn version gives you a much higher difficulty curve too. It's pretty great. I like it. But it's not a version that everybody wants to play. Not everybody wants to play a version of Sonic R that will kick you while you're down and controls as slippery as this one does. The Gems Collection version basically tones down your turning radius, which sucks at a professional level, but is very, very approachable for casual players. Like, that's the way that a lot of people grew up playing the game. Because, you know, if we're being entirely real here, I don't think anybody in this chat is, you know, old. So, outside of me, like, everybody grew up after Sonic Adventure already existed. Gotta go to bed, but if you're ending the stream soon, I can stay. We're gonna finish up this stage, do this stage a second time to get the emeralds, and then we'll be doing Radiant Emeralds. So I'd imagine we probably have about 30 minutes left of stream. What would blur the line to say Heroes on GameCube versus PS2? Well, unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of experience with Heroes specifically, because I played on GameCube and that's it. So the main difference here is that I have seen people do reviews with a, you know, like, say, take Shadow the Hedgehog. I did see a review specifically about Shadow the Hedgehog on, they're doing a review on it through PS2. A very different version of the game. They also had a nasty upscaler that automatically stretched it to widescreen. And it looked terrible. It looked awful. It was probably one of the worst upscale jobs I've ever seen. And one of their sticking points was about how bad the graphics looked. Whereas I had the opportunity to play Shadow the Hedgehog on a GameCube with a GCHD, which is basically a Kirby, but, you know, not called a Kirby. It's a very different experience, and everybody's review is going to be inherently biased one way or the other, which is, you know, kind of a problem when you're trying to do a more, you know, quote-unquote objective take on a game. If your gameplay is going to be inherently different from somebody else. And yeah, exactly, the PS2 frame rate is also pretty bad, but that's the version people played. That's the version people played a lot. The PS2 was a very popular console. And I mean, the PS3 had no games, so people were just playing the PS2 the entire time. And they had even more chances to play Heroes and Shadow on it. And while I'm not the biggest Heroes fan, so I'm not like, don't know the in-depth differences between the versions between GameCube and PS2, I could see it being very disingenuous to sit there and review the Heroes PS2 as if you were reviewing the Heroes GameCube. Or the opposite direction, like if you were reviewing Heroes GameCube as if you were reviewing PS2 or PS2 as a GameCube. Or if you were playing the PC version of Heroes and you were trying to say that this is why Heroes sucks because I'm playing the PC version and I clipped to the floor. Oh no. Wow. Uh-oh. Like, no. That's ridiculous. Especially when you're sitting there mounting the ISO. Like, take Sonic R. What happens all the time, I can know right away if you're somebody who's pirated Sonic R. Because if you go to My Abandonware and you pick up Sonic R, the ISO, if you don't fully mount your ISO and play the game with a virtual drive, it will not play the music. And there are people who have full-on videos out there who have made Sonic R videos and said, I can't get the music to work. I couldn't get the music to work. It's a bad game. When it's like, bro, I know you just went to My Abandonware and downloaded the ISO. You didn't even try. You didn't even try. Like, especially when people try to load it through a virtual machine or something. This is a very common issue that happens when you pirated the game rather than actually load the disc into your computer. Yeah, PC Heroes is one of the versions of the game that's, I'd say it's probably, you know, worse than the other ones. But if that's the one you grew up with and you know it, and you didn't run into these issues, then it's not really anything you're going to know about. It's only going to be something you run into if you play the game enough to the point where that's going to be an issue. And yeah, I really loved that aspect of Heroes. I loved the fact that Heroes was the game that had all those different playable characters in it. That was something that was unheard of at the time. That was a record-breaking dozen different playable characters right at the start. I mean, granted, Sonic R offers you 10 different characters, but like this is a lot of unique characters in a game that you could play. And even though Sonic R has even more unique characters rather than just, you know, speed, fly, and power, it was nice to see. It was really nice to see that in Heroes. Yeah, exactly. Like, people play games to make content, and you can tell they're only playing the games to make the content. Because you can tell how very disingenuous their content has been. Or if they are experiencing a glitch that would normally never be there. Oh yeah, there are definitely some more minor differences between the characters. I'm just being reductive at this point, just to troll the Heroes fans. Like, I definitely, I have the most fun with Team Rose, specifically. I love the Amy mechanics. I specifically love doing her little, basically rocket excel off the edge. You do the little hammer twirl in the air, and you can actually jump out of the hammer twirl, and you get even more height and more distance. It is a very, very cool game. Like, again, like, as much as I like to shit-talk Heroes, it is one of my favorite Sonics, just because I love a lot of Sonic games. But that being said, I love a lot of other Sonic games too, and there's a lot of other Sonic games I play more of. Like, Heroes is definitely, you know, if I were to actually rank my favorite Sonic games, I mean, every Sonic game is in S tier as is, because they're all Sonic games. They're all great. I love them. But at the same time, they're all in S tier, but Heroes is in the middle of S tier, opposed to, you know, where I like to play Sonic R all the way at the top. Every version of Sonic R is at the top. And then I even like to play a lot of the Game Gear games. They're a lot shorter, so I like to play those ones. Did I get the submarine? I don't think I got the submarine. Well, I'll find out. Nope, I did not get it. So let's... Oh, I did get it? I didn't see the smoke, so I didn't go for it. Maybe that's a gems collection change. I mean, that's the thing. Bad to you is different from bad to everybody and purely unenjoyable. For example, I know Sonic Chronicles is a very hot button issue with a lot of people. Anybody who knows what Sonic Chronicles is probably not a fan of Sonic Chronicles, obviously. But just for as many people I've met that hate the game, I've still met a couple people that really do love the game. I even have an appreciation for the game. I'm playing the Saturn version right now. Saturn version, which means if there was a visual cue, there might only be a visual cue in the PC gems. GG's, Motos. Yeah, I'm on Saturn right now, so I don't think there might not be a visual smoke cue on the submarine. But it's alright, we'll just do it again. If I mess up my route, all that means is that I get to play more Sonic R. Alright, so let's do this again. We'll just get both emeralds here. Ooh, that is clean, Motos. That is clean. Hey, Mad. Thanks for coming by. I know it's super, super late, and I'm glad I get to show you some Sonic R before bed. Yeah, exactly. I thought Chronicles was cool when I played it. I really liked having an RPG. I liked having these, Osu-style, I guess Elite Beat Agent-style combat mechanics. I really liked forming my own party. I liked raising the Chow and having them actually affect my moveset in-game. It was very, very cool. It was very novel at the time. And I think I forgot to get the other emerald. Yeah, there we go. I think I messed up my route again. Which means more Sonic R. The more time I spend losing in Sonic R, the less I can sleep. Oh, well, I guess in that case, RIP, because we're probably going to have to redo this round again. Yeah, we're redoing this one again. Yeah, I don't play Sonic for the story. I don't play any Sonic game for the story. So having a very story-focused Sonic game is not anything I really care for. It's absolutely nothing I'm going to care with.
Ready?
I remember playing the game when I was little, but couldn't read English, got stuck. Oh, no. That's always the worst. There were a number of games like that happened to me back when I was playing these things on my computer, you know, with a sneaky Genesist or, or what do they call it? NESist or NESist. I remember being so confused playing Mega Man X when I couldn't read. That was a fun one. But yeah, I don't play Sonic games for the story. So again, if I were to play a game like Sonic Frontiers that was, I guess, trying to be built based around its story, I mean, the story is a bonus. It's not really the reason I'd play a game. Yet Nesticle, that's the name. Thank you. Thank you, Fun Boringness. I knew it had some embarrassing name. Oh, yeah. Mega Man X is really, really great. I really hate to be that guy that says Mega Man X is my favorite of the X series, but unfortunately I am that guy. That's the one I have the most experience with. I did try getting my hand at the other X series games like X2, X3. I don't know, they just didn't click the same for me like X1 did. I feel like X1 had it, and I'm still learning new stuff about X1 all the time. Wait, how did Sonic get so far ahead? How did Sonic get so far ahead? What happened? Excuse me? Sonic, where are you? Why are you so far ahead? I might still be able to pull this back up because he went the long way here, but... What happened? No, I missed it! Okay, never mind. We gotta replay again. I goofed. I missed the accelerator. No zippy. For Classic or X? Definitely X myself. Classic Mega Man is great, but I don't know. They kind of felt samey after a while.
Ready, set.
Sure, I'd give it a try to say that word. Carl Weezer. Carl Weezer. No, not another restart. Look, Sonic cheesed me that time. It wasn't my fault. This time it was purely Sonic's fault. Who's Carl Weezer? Oh, no. Am I too old? Am I too old that nobody remembers Carl Weezer? Where did Weezer come from? I don't know, maybe Buddy Holly, but unrelated. Carl Weezer's from Jimmy Neutron. Thank you, Crozy. I'm glad at least somebody appreciates cinema. Even though you don't play Sonic for the story, you have a particular favorite Sonic story? I do kind of... I really like a lot of the storybook games, which is kind of ironic because I don't really play games with a story at all. But I do kind of like the storybook games because they kind of take the stories that you would expect from a Sonic game and throw them kind of on their head, with all the different character interactions being similar but different enough that kind of makes it funny. Especially like the Black Knight interactions. All the riffing that Sonic does with like Shadow and Knuckles, even though they're Lancelot and Galahad. They're very cool, and I like them a lot. All right, there you go. So now Sonic isn't the one kicking my butt. We have both emeralds, I think. I think we do. I don't know. I don't know if we have both emeralds, but you know we're just going to go for it. I forgot. Hey, I mean, Choco Pretz is just an imitation of the original, so obviously they're not going to be as right. I can't get Weezered again, man. It's every time. But, like, look at this controller. This is such a good controller. It's actually so good, I actually went out of my way to get a special adapter for this controller so I could use this on my computer. The D-pad is both a very pinned D-pad, so you can't really press up and down at the same time, but it's also rounded, so you can actually do really cool rounding moves with, like, fighting games and stuff. You also have, of course, the 6-button access, which is also awesome. Yeah, All-Stars Racing is a pretty fun game. Okay, we did get all the emeralds because they're supersonic. Yeah. And honestly, when this console came out, you really only needed the shoulder buttons. And honestly, kind of hot take, but I feel like we have too many shoulder buttons now. Especially when you start throwing in L3 and R3 into the mix. And now that we have controllers with special, like the third-party controllers that let you program your own buttons on the back of it. It's just like, I don't know, it's too many buttons now. But yeah, DDR Flatpad is a pretty solid controller, though. Not gonna lie.
Set, go!
Yeah, I usually play more Racing Transformed these days. I think Transformed is one of my favorite bunch. Yeah, that's definitely an adjustment that takes some time. I grew up with playing keyboard and mouse exclusively. Even in Sonic R, I played strictly just keyboard for years. I didn't even know there were quote-unquote, drift buttons. I didn't even know. I was just playing the game as intended by using left and right and forward. Once I finally learned there was an accelerate button and a left and right, which, I learned by just going to the controls menu to try to remap some of the buttons. It really showed me the light that there was, a lot more game. Well, unfortunately, Crozy, we got playing Sonic R and I got yapping. And also, we ended up missing like 30 minutes of the stream at the start. No, I mean, it's too many buttons on a modern controller that already has too many buttons. It's too many buttons to add even more. For example, the Saturn controller that I have on right now, in addition to the D-pad, all you have to worry about is the 6 space buttons and the 2 bumpers. That's it. Whereas any other Wait. What? Who went to my Twitch channel? Who went to my Twitch channel and redeemed that? Hello? Who? Goat? For those that don't know, I have some alerts on my Twitch that normally don't work while I'm live on YouTube, but I guess they do this time. That is so funny. That is so funny. Thank you, Goat. But yeah, if I were to hold my Xbox controller right now, not only do you have the left analog stick, you have the D-pad, you have the right analog stick, you have the 4 face buttons, you have the 2 bumpers, then you have the 2 triggers, which are separate from the bumpers, and then you have the left click and right click, which are L3 and R3. That is significantly more buttons than you have. So many more buttons. Especially when you start adding in extra, like, mappable buttons and macro buttons. That's when you get way too much. And I think I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to lose here. I opened up the wrong shortcut. And now I'm dead. Alright, here we go. Let's do this again. That's what I get for doing hard mode. If I were on normal mode, I would have had this done already. So, what does the flying bean do? This is the redeem I call Wait For It. So, on my Twitch channel, one person can redeem Wait For It, and then you have to wait for it. The second time somebody redeems it, it does something else. It's a very unnecessary redeem, but I love it a lot, and I've had it for a while. I also have other ones, like I have a rotating RuneScape stake, otherwise known as a spinning neat. But nobody's gonna know what that means because, I have a younger audience. Yeah, we get more diamonds in the sky. It's a great song. Enjoy it. Because we're going to be here for probably another attempt or two. But yeah, so somebody has to redeem it again on my Twitch channel. Which I believe if you go there and follow right now, you'll actually be able to, you should get a free, like, enough points to, you know, redeem it. I think when you follow somebody on Twitch for the first time, you get 300 points. It's one of those silly channel point things that Twitch does. You can get more points if you actually watch the streams over there and hang out and, you know, cheeky self-promo. But my Twitch channel is where I do, you know, not only just slightly more adult content sometimes, but also I play more stuff than just Sonic. My YouTube channel is mostly just Sonic, but if you noticed in all of my YouTube videos, there's more than just Sonic gameplay. Well, obviously Goat does. I do. And a handful of people in the chat also have a Twitch account. I mean, my mods have Twitch accounts. What do you mean more adult content? Well, I curse like a sailor here already, but I curse like a super sailor on Twitch. I played a little bit of Ring Racers, but not too much of it. It's on my list of things to get to, but I've been too busy over here. All right, let's try this again. Have you not seen a Northern Portuguese person? I mean, I believe I have. I mean, I don't know if they're from Northern Portugal. But I know they're from Portugal. They actually have an entire convention named after them, which is pretty cool. Okay, no, I'm not going to open up the door. I'm not going to open up the door. I'm just going to go this way. I mean, I curse like I say that part. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the fun. I just don't really do that on Twitch because I, you know. I mean, so I don't really do that on YouTube because I know a lot of the people watching my videos. I mean, my videos are PG-13. Knuckles, you cheated me out of my victory. Here we go again. We're gonna be here till I do this. I believe. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying it, because I kind of have a vague idea that it's not a very appropriate word. That's why I said Carl Weezer. Because while I may not know exactly what the word means, I know it's not a very polite word that I should be saying on my PG-13 Twitch channel. It means something like darn. Yes, sure it does. Sure it does, Hex. Look, at best, like at best, you know, it's a swear word, but at worst, I'm about to get D's nutted in the worst way possible, all right? So, you know, when chat says, hey, talk about Wendy's, like, no, I'm not going to do that. Talk about dragons. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not about to say something and be like, Dragon D's nuts on your face. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I am the D's nutter, not the D's nutty, all right? I refuse. It depends on the language. I could guess it has something to do with shutting my mouth, stop yapping, and carry on my game. Okay, you know what, Zodic? Just for you. Do you know about what happened in Norway? No. Please tell me what happened in Norway. What happened in Norway? It's better be a good one. Because it better be a good one. Ooh, that was a really good turn. I might use that next time. Oh, that is unusual. Tails just opened up the shortcut on the lap 3. That is not normal behavior. And Knuckles is really far behind. That is also not normal behavior. I think we are in the no man's land of Sonic R. Well, it's a sensitive topic. Oh, boy. What am I walking into? Almost perfect drift. Almost perfect. Come on, we should be good. There we go. No, Sonic, why are you going as fast as my boost? Sonic should not be going as fast as my boost right now. No, no, Sonic, Sonic, please. How? How? I messed it up. Sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Zodic's name doesn't seem to be... No. PG-13 is actually a lot looser than people realize. You're allowed to make dick jokes at PG-13. I've seen enough PG-13 movies to know that you're allowed to say dick. I mean, there's an entire TV series called Dick Tracy. Like, it's fine. I'm good. I folded under the pressure. It's fine. You'll get me one day. I mean, partially, yes. The public lore is that I'm salty and nobody likes me. But realistically, yes, my name very much is an NSFW joke. It all came about because my friend was, you know, I'll have to tell this joke in the Discord server now that I'm thinking about it. Ooh, sub 14. Clean. When you break the 13 barrier, you're going to be on the IL record board. Especially for gems. I think gems is, I think 13. I want to say PC and Saturn are down to 12s. Falling into a pretzel must not be comfortable. If you stretch enough, it's fine. Which, you know, if you are still one of those young whippersnappers out there, I'd definitely recommend keep up with your stretching. That is one thing that I wish I did when I was a little bit younger, because all of my bones and muscles are so sore all the time. And now I'm doing stretching to fix it. It's so much time and energy wasted. See, now Sonic's opening this up on lap 2. This is not normal. I think my game is learning. Every copy of Sonic R is personalized. See ya, Zodic. Have a good one. We're almost done. I have a good feeling about this one. Alright, so Sonic didn't open up the shortcut that time. Which is weird, because he was supposed to. So I don't know what the AI is doing here. That TFW feeling when Sonic R is personalized. It really is. Sonic is really catching up now. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I need one more boost. I need another boost. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Go, 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 go. Bam. Oh, wow. It's that late? Well, good thing we just got to the end. I ain't going to sleep, though. It's all right. We just made it. We just made it. We're here. We're at the end. We did Amy, hard mode, no jumping. It's possible, even if it took me a bunch of attempts. But there it is. There's the 100% end screen. Isn't she lovely? I'm playing Klonoa right now, as you should. Wahoo! Wahoo! I'm finishing this game. Go for it. Get it, Sam? I'm using the same ways you type in your videos. Are you proud? I'm reusing jokes. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. The original title for my Tails Sky Patrol video is actually What the WTF is Tails Sky Patrol, but the game, I guess the video itself, it didn't get pushed very hard because that title put it into the shadow ban regions, so I had to like change it. Which is a shame, because I think the Tails Sky Patrol video is one of my favorites. I really love the Tails Sky Patrol video, it turned out. Klonoa 2 is my favorite. Are you playing the new the new Switch ports? Or I guess they went multi-plat, right? Alright. Well, I guess since we do have some extra time, okay, who did it? Who did it? Fess up. Fess up. Fess up. My favorite video was the second Sonic R video. That one's also really good. Hey, have you got Sparkster? So, not yet, Crozy. It is in the mail. It is in the mail. Actually, here, I'll even check my eBay for you guys right now. I'll check my eBay. I'll give you a live update on where Sparkster is and how soon it is to get here. Let's go with eBay. Yeah, my Labyrinth videos are... honestly, I like all of my videos, realistically. But not to be all, you know, high off my own supply here, but my favorites are probably... I don't know. I really do like my recent Sonic 4 video. If anything, it was catharsis for me. All right, so they say the estimate is Thursday, August 15th, which is tomorrow. I really don't think Sparkster's getting in tomorrow. It is, looks like it's Wednesday, August 14th. They say it's in transit to the next facility, arriving on time. But the last facility was here. It was in Oklahoma still. I'm all the way out in Virginia, so it's going to take at least another few days to get here. Yeah, I know it's from 2 months ago. I've been traveling. I'm sorry. But the Sonic Rivals video is shaping up to be a pretty good one, too. Yes, I actually have Metropolis Street Racer. I have no lights down at the bottom of my shelf, so I can't see it, but... here it is. I love the soundtrack. It's really good. Wait, what? I was curious to see what you'll say about Rivals. I loved it as a kid and almost got hit by a car over it. How? Goat, I need to know this story. I cannot end stream until I know this story. So in the meantime, you guys want to see what I picked up while I was out of town recently? I went all the way up to middle of nowhere, New York. Upstate, down where the steamed hams were invented. And there's a couple game stores up there, so I picked up some stuff. So, I'll start off with the big ones. So, don't worry, Sonic fans. We got content for you. Whoa, Sonic R. More like Sonic R really bad. Whoa. Okay, so, Sonic fans, now that you're occupied. So, check this out. So, for my Master System, I got a couple cool things. I got, wait, that's not it. I got, for one, Time Soldiers. Time Soldiers is a game that I have no idea what it's about, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for time travel stories, so I picked that up. I got another game from Master System that's actually in my Master System right now, so let me get that. There we go. And then I got a Rastan. Ignore the price sticker that I tried ripping off and didn't do a very good job on. But this is a combat platformer. I played a little bit of it earlier. It was actually recommended to me by somebody in this chat right now who may or may not be in bed and sleeping. But yeah, I got Rastan here, or Rastin, or Raystin, or Raystain. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I got it. And I played a little bit of it offline. It's pretty fun. And I hope to may play some more of it in a sneaky voice call with somebody else. Where's Ricer 8-Bit? Don't have a Game Gear, so I can't. But if I find a Master System bootleg of it down in Brazil, I'll probably import it. And now here are the other ones. So, for Mega Drive, I picked up Shadow of the Beast. This is a game, if you can read the copyright down there. This is Psygnosis. This is the same people that built Pugsy, that then went on to build Sonic R. So, this is basically pre-Traveler's Tales, and I'm excited to give it a try. I guess it's another combat platformer, so I'll see how that goes. And then, if you guys remember my love of different Valis games, this is the, I guess technically the closest we're ever going to get to a Valis 2 out in America. This is Sid of Valis. This is like a more comedy, silly, chibi take on the series. So you still have the Valis gameplay of like sliding and jumping and swords and stuff, but you have these giant chibi heads. It's very comedic. So it's close we're ever going to get to a Valis 2. I have Valis 1 and Valis 3, so now I finally have the full Valis collection on hardware, which is pretty cool. And yes, the label is super scuffed. I don't know. I have an attachment to scuffed label games. I get a lot of those. And this Chibi, like Chibi Sonic and Sonic CD. Yes, just like Sonic and Sonic CD. Did you know Sonic CD was available in the Gems collection? And this is the first home console port outside of the Sega CD itself. Whoa, Sonic Gems collection. All right, so Sonic fans are paying attention again. We're good for another 5 minutes. So, we also picked up Toys. I have no idea what this game is, but it was like $2. And I was like, you know what? Why not? It's $2. I'm going to get it. And then, of course, as a big fan of Minnesota Fats, Pool Legend, who made up every single song in one of my videos, you'll have to find out which one. It won't be that hard. We have Side Pocket 1. This is the original version of the game. Minnesota Fats, Pool Legend was technically a sequel to this, but it got reskinned to be Minnesota Fats over in the States. There's a whole bunch of FMVs of this random old guy playing pool. It's very funny. Very cool novelty. And then, of course, the big one here. We finally got our hands on Virtual Bart. There's nothing to say about it other than just Bart is virtual now. And now, here's where the fun stuff comes in. So, for those that know the kind of games I play a lot of weird stuff. You know, if that wasn't obvious from all the videos I play. But I got some more weird stuff. So, just sitting there, as I was leaving the store, Sonic Riders, whoa, more like Sonic Meat Riders. Wow, toxic positivity is so real. Anyway, so now that Sonic fans are occupied again, we got ourselves a handful of games. So as I was leaving the store, there was just a big old bucket of Game Boy Advance games. Just a straight up bucket of Game Boy Advance games. And I was like, hey, what's the story with that bucket? Oh, speaking of Minnesota Fats, this is Minnesota Fats, the soundtrack right now that's playing. But I was like, hey, what's the story with this bucket right here? And he's like, oh yeah, these just are Game Boy Advance games that nobody wants to buy. They're all like, you know, $2, $3, whatever. They have price stickers on them. Just go ahead, let me know what you got. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, can I look through the bucket? And I was like, yeah, sure, look through the bucket. And so I looked through the bucket. And I pull out a whole bunch of random stuff. And he was like, you know what, dude? All these are like $5 a pop, but you got so many of them, I'll just give them to you all for 10. Just every single game for 10. So I got, let's see, how many games is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 games. I had to count twice because I'm not good at math. But I got 11 games for $10. And I got a lot of them. So you guys want to see which ones I got? These are all Game Boy Advance, and there's one Game Boy game. So I can play all of these on my Game Boy player. We're probably going to be playing these on Twitch. GBA games like Sonic Advance. Oh, sorry, the Sonic fans are hounding for more Sonic content. Sonic and the Secret Rings. More like Sonic and the Secret Ring Up the Police because this game is so bad. Whoa. Okay, Sonic fans. So, check out this first game we got. Okay, no, this one was a gift. Okay, hang on. So, it's only 10 games I got from the store. One of them was a gift that I got from a friend while I was out of town. But I got, oh, here, let me turn on autofocus on my camera so you actually can see what I'm doing. Hang on, almost ready. Configure video. And autofocus. Done. Alright. This is gonna suck. I hate autofocus, but we need this for the gameplay. So. We got the Land Before Time collection. And then we also got... We got the Revenge of Shinobi on Game Boy Advance, which is a Sega game, just like Sonic is. Wow. Math like Sonic Schoolhouse? Yes, you are keeping the Sonic fans distracted. Let's see, what do we have to keep the Sonic fans distracted? Sonic Adventure 2 Battle? Whoa! More like Battle to keep me interested. We got Chicken Shoot, which I had no idea was released ever on the Game Boy Advance. I have this on the Wii. But I had no idea this was on the Game Boy Advance, so I'm excited to play that one and see how that works. We end up getting a Turbo Turtle Adventure. Just like Sonic Adventure. Am I right, Sonic fans? And then here's one that I got just out of morbid curiosity. This is the Camp Lazlo Leaky Lake games. For anybody who watches any of my videos with the subtitles on, you'll know what that game's about. All right? So I'm not going to spoil anything else. If you don't know what I'm talking about, rewatch all of my videos with the subtitles on. You'll know what I'm talking about real quick. We end up getting a Dr. Sudoku. I've never heard of this game in my life, but how could you say no to that face? Not the Camp Lazlo fanfics. Crozy, you know what I'm talking about. So we also, of course, have Marble Madness and Clax, the DSi games double pack. I have both Marble Madness and Clax on my Mega Drive, but now I have it on my GameCube too. Doctor like Eggman. You know it. And here we go. Here's a fun one. We got Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Disney Interactive. On Game Boy Advance was pretty cool. Never played any of these games. But you know what? For $10, I will happily play them. And then here we go. We also got Simpsons Road Rage. And for those that don't know, there was actually a Crazy Taxi game that, well, I guess originally Road Rage, I think, was the game that Crazy Taxi was angry about because Road Rage basically ripped off Crazy Taxi. But now there's a Game Boy Advance version of Road Rage, but there's also a Game Boy Advance version of Crazy Taxi. And I guess we'll find out. We'll find out if Road Rage Game Boy Advance is just as much a ripoff as Crazy Taxi. Road? Like City Escape? Yeah, you know it. Sonic Mega Collection. More like Sonic, Fart Collection. Yeah, that's right. All right, here we go. We got one more game here. Let me pull off the price sticker. Well, it doesn't really matter. You guys know I got a good deal on them anyway. So, here's the one I actually wanted to buy. This is Stunt Track Driver. I love Stunt Track Driver on my PC. I played that game basically whenever I wasn't playing Sonic R on my PC, I was playing Stunt Track Driver on my PC. I was going to buy just this game, and then I saw the bucket. And so I started flipping through the bucket. And so the guy gave me this game and all those other games for like $10. So this probably made up most of the purchase. But yes, there is my there is my game haul for the time. But there we go. Let's see. Zero gravity. More like zero goodity. Wow, I'm a Sonic creator. All right, so now the Sonic fans are back and they're paying attention because I've now jingled the keys that are a Sonic game. This is the end of stream. We played Sonic R multiple different ways today, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed Sonic R. We're going to be ending the stream here. And I normally would have a little sneaky something to show off, but I didn't prepare ahead, so we don't really have anything on hand for this. So, what we're just going to do instead, we're just going to end off the stream like we normally do. So, you know what to do if you guys want to keep up to date with everything that's going on with my life. Look down below in the chat. I have a whole bunch of links there if you want to check them out. I have, of course, got my Twitter where I talk way too much. There is my YouTube, which is here, obviously. There's my Twitch, where I, if you want to see me talk about more non-Sonic stuff and see me actually play all these games I just showed off, that's the place to go for it. I have a number of games. My collection is growing every day. I mean, there's my Mega Drive shelf. It goes up off the camera here. I got a big old shelf of games right over here. And over there, that little purple thing in the corner right here, right here, that's actually my vacuum cleaner. Because I spilt graham crackers underneath my desk, and I haven't cleaned them up yet. So I brought my vacuum down. Why did chat vanish? Because chat is too busy looking for Sonic content here. But then, lastly, there's my Discord server. So, if you want to hop in and see what's going on with the next stream, when the next videos are, and if you are a channel member, you get access to some silly screenshots I post in my in-progress videos. You're more than welcome to hop in there. And I'm going to probably start running a secret, sneaky voice call if you guys want to hang out while I do my video edits. If you want to maybe get a sneak peek of what's going on, I might start doing some stuff in there. Otherwise, I might just start doing my watch parties again. Whatever works. But there you go. There's my there's all my links. There's my spiel. If you guys, you know, as I mentioned earlier, my Twitter is right there. But you guys know I'm not the typical Sonic fan. I actually went out of my way to block most of the Sonic community on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter and it turns out you've been pre-blocked, don't worry about it. It's literally just because I found a couple people that I don't like, and I blocked everybody that follows them. So if you happen to follow somebody nasty, I probably accidentally blocked you, even if you yourself are not a nasty. So by all means, my Discord link is right down there. Go ahead, give me a shout. I can unblock you. It's no big deal. Where did Choco Pretz go? I don't know. We'll find out later. Choco Pretz will always reveal themselves when they're most needed. They're not the hero we deserve, but they're the hero we need. But there we go. That's it. I don't know how else we're supposed to end the stream. So thanks for playing. See you next time. Oh, you wanted a controller recommendation? So, sorry, I missed that chat, because stream delay. But, here we go. Let me pull this up, so I can reach this. I can't, okay, hang on. I got it. I got the controller just for you. One sec. So here we go. This is, it's just, I know it's a basic bitch request here, a basic bitch option. This is the standard Xbox Series controller right now. The reason I recommend this specifically is because not only does it have every button, not only is it fully compatible with every Steam game you could throw at it, every PC game you could throw at it, it's also got a USB-C port, and I actually play, the reason I couldn't show off my other one is because it's actually currently plugged into my computer right now. You can kind of see it right here. This is my pink one that I use. So, I use this pink one most of the time. It's actually plugged in my computer. And I prefer to play games with, you know, wired controller so I don't lose connection. It's one of the reasons why I don't really play my Switch very much, because I don't really like plugging in my Pro controller. I play it a lot offline, but I don't play it, you know, here. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. You can actually get them pretty cheap, especially used. You just want to be careful you get official ones and not bootlegs. If you end up getting a bootleg Xbox controller, it's not as fun. I know PS4 had a very bad problem with bootleg DualShocks. It is terrible, absolutely terrible. It's awful. So if you can find yourself regular, I think these are the Xbox One controllers. You can get them on Amazon pretty cheap. You can actually go to Walmart. They regularly do sales for these things, and they do price matching online. I actually got my pink one for like $45 at Walmart, I think. If you just keep an eye on, Walmart shop page, look up Xbox controller, look at the official ones. They do run on AA's, which does kind of suck. They're not rechargeable, but you could get the rechargeable battery back for them. I have that on a couple of my controllers. But yes, now I can end the stream. So thanks for playing. Good night. For real.